Who's got that Friday feeling out there? We certainly have here. It's the Racing Post Live Friday of the Tingle Creek meeting. 2 days at Sandown, sponsored by Betfair, who also sponsor our show as well. It's a huge weekend. 7 races for you. We're going to treat you with all the best race reaction in the business. Raucous it will get in here. If you want to know where your money went, this is the place to be, let me tell you. Indeed. So, Tingle Creek weekend. Can we say that? I think we can. But is it the race of the weekend? We will be going down the panel to find out exactly what's coming up. It looks like the heavens are opening, doesn't it? Thank goodness for that. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. Facebook Live, get the chat roaring up. Plenty of it available there today. Anything anti-post, who wins a tingle, all that sort of thing. And anything Twitter, hashtag RP Live. Right. We also go to Exeter as well. Delighted to say, finally, some rain in the West Country as well. Really good stuff coming your way. Who's with me? Drum roll, please. Mattie Batch back in. I'll tell you what, it's Tingle Creek weekend. It's a great time to get you back in. You used to love going over those fences at Sandown.
Yeah, lovely fences, fair to jump, and if you went round there on a good jumper, it was a great place to go round.
I mean, I say you used to. You are still riding, of course. We have a little bit of a giggle about that, don't we? But
I think I'll only be going local, Dave. Plumpton, Fontwell. I don't think we'll be making any trips back to Sat. Well, I am due to go to Newbury in a couple of weeks. So.
And you have won one of today's races, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
Paul Kealy, this is your only chance to grill Keels about the weekend. It's the only show he's doing this weekend, and it's still. Have you been playing golf or something, Keels?
No, but I want to. I mean, you talk about it being a Friday feeling. I'm already looking forward to going home.
What a surprise! But we've got you here today, Keels. We're delighted. You look a bit like a caddy. You're going to be doing the pressing all the buttons for
Betfair. Play golf, put it that way. So I might as well be a caddy.
Well, let's hope that your handicap is on fire, mate.
I'm told I can't mess this up today because it's all been set up for me. So maybe I'll get through a whole afternoon of not messing it up because I haven't done it yet.
Basically, even if you don't tip winners today, you've got to press the buttons right. 4, let's go to Dublin. Barry Orr is on track at Sandown today and tomorrow. We'll be dialing into Barry tomorrow. Fast and Furious it is here today. So who comes along? Well, he's been warming up on the show recently. Ryan McCue.
Yeah, good to be back on, Dave. Betfair Tingle Creek weekend, as you said. Keels might press the wrong buttons, but I might hope he does that the odd race because I'll be the one putting up a few tips. So hopefully we can put up a few winners.
Yeah, Ryan will be playing for charity in every single race, basically, trading away. If you're new to the show, we showcase the functionality of the exchange, but also the sportsbook, Ryan. And shall we get proceedings underway? With 150 is the first, of course, we're covering at Sandown. Plenty of time to chew the fat between then. And a multiple, if you please.
Yeah, we're going to do a £1 each way, lucky 15 to kick things off, Dave. We didn't have too much luck with the bet last week, but if you bet 20 in a multi in the Betfair Sportsbook, you get a 5 free bet. So we've 3 selections at Sandown. Mahler's Promise and the 150 is going to be our first selection and our first race of the day that we're covering. The 3 o'clock then at Sandown is Early de Limo, and the last then we're covering at Sandown is Pylon, the 3:35. And then 1 at Exeter I'm going to put up as well for the lucky 15. Laird Avant in the 240 for the Tizards, whose horses have been going really well this season. So hopefully we get a little bit of luck with that. And there's a few that are decent enough prices in that look today.
Okay, the boys caught up in the end. All right, let's have a look. Can we scroll up, Kills, and show everyone that again for people that might have missed that?
I'm trying to get show bet receipt. Well, I've got to scroll, haven't I? I'm such an idiot.
Kills is a seasoned Betfair, so we should be fine here this afternoon. He says famous last words. Well, that's what it's going to return anyway. All right, so, okay, for any of you out there, maybe we'll try and get that up on the screen if we can. So, listen, if you don't want to get involved in every single race, perhaps have a little multiple, and that's where Ryan will be going. He's a decent judge. It's Tingle Creek weekend, isn't it? 150, you can see. This is what you get on the show, basically. The exchange, the real market in front of your eyes. A little bit like a racing Saturday show. But here we are on a Friday. This is a bit of a test, so let's hope you're out there. Let us know if you are, because it is interactive. We have a lovely chat community here. If you've not joined it yet, it's really easy. Just get in the chat box, stick something up. The boys in the gallery will frame it up and we'll give you a shout on screen. You get premium content as well, because not just in the social corner, all the spotlight selections, etc. will be coming up. And Hugh Masson, one of our favourites, Hugh, opens the show. 2 days, Hugh. Are you ready? Afternoon all. Need Dave to put on another 0 on 1 at Sandown. Okay, fine. Which one could it be? At least Ricky Johnson has retired. Yeah, you know what it's like. I famously said here when Sporting John, was it Sandown, Hugh, as well, wasn't it? And do you remember when he won his Grade 1 and he was $1 million, wasn't he? Halfway, and I went, Barry, you can put another 0 on that, and we all know what happened. He came flying through there, and what was it? I was calling him Ricky Johnson, wasn't it? Which match you were in for that? You loved that, didn't you? He's one of your close pals.
Yeah.
Hugh, great to have you along. Hugh's just demonstrated how to do it. There'll be loads of Twitter clips going up this afternoon. I've got a feeling we're in a bit of a spicy mood, aren't we, guys? What do we think about the Tingle Creek tomorrow, Kills, first and foremost? And is it the race of the weekend?
Well, I think in terms of proven class, you can say Chacun Pour Soir's probably the best horse running at the weekend. Official rating 177.
Yeah,
176. But I mean, we've got a remarkable John Durkin with Envoy Allen.
This is on Sunday at Punchestown.
Allaho. And Fakir Du Dairy and about 6 other Willie Mullins trained horses in there. So that's a really, really good race as well. But I think Shaq is very much the one to beat at Sandown, but it all depends on what form he brings over.
Yeah.
Because he's had one away day from Mullins and he was way below his best there. He's only half a length behind Newbie Negra at Cheltenham and a length in front of Green Team. They're the two that are running against him. If he brings that sort of form to the table, then it's up for grabs.
They do believe they left something on the table at Chelsea, don't they? Batchelor, in the champion chase, whether it would be tactics or whether he wasn't quite on his A game. He'd held all before him. Nube Negra, of course, in front of him, as Kills said, and champion chase. Why is there such a price discrepancy?
I don't know. I mean, it sticks out to me that why they haven't brought him over more. It's only the once. He never does well. You'd look at the field in the Tingle Creek this weekend and you'd probably go, do you know what? We have got the highest rated horse. It might be worth trying to go on there. If all his form is mainly on flattish tracks. He's come to Cheltenham and got turned over. He's going to come to Sandown and get turned over as well. I do like Nubra Negra.
Still improving?
I think he's improving. I think he's a great price.
You roared him home, didn't you, for the Skeletons on this show when we covered the Sunday of the Paddy Power meeting?
I honestly think he'd turn him over tomorrow.
You do?
I do, yeah. I honestly do, yeah.
Yeah, because it is interesting, Kills, isn't it? When we thought Shishkin, it was actually Keels that first floated this idea, and you said, I think one of them will come over. We thought it would be Shachan, didn't we? And you've got that right. No Shishkin now. Are you surprised he's not shorter, therefore?
If he was in Ireland, he'd be odds on. I think we can say that fairly safely.
So is this an opportunity to get him turned over? Is this really?
Well, it could be an opportunity to get him turned over. I think both the top Brits have got a shot at him. I don't understand the difference in price between Green Teen and Nubie Negra, to be honest. I think we've got that celebration chase form when he looked really, really good. And I know you can get carried away by post-Cheltenham form, but it was a good run. He's essentially thrashed Altior, put the kettle on, so royal. And it's over course and distance on the ground he's going to get. So it's same situation. Yes, he wasn't quite at his best.
You've always been a fan of his, haven't you?
I've been a big fan of his. Yeah, I mean, I backed him at a big price for the champion chase and obviously missed out of the frame by one. But yeah, I think he's obviously decent. He improved throughout last season. And he's got that quality form at the track.
It's tactics that worry me about him, Kills, because he's fizzy, isn't he? And do you think Hitman will his stayed stride on?
I think Hitman is fairly certain to go on.
I think that's why he's declared him.
Yeah, interesting. So look, that is 2:25 tomorrow. It's the big race. We'll be covering that for you. Get in your thoughts about that. I know there are some polls out there, aren't there? Who's going to win the Winter Novice Hurdle? Nichols and the Brooks and Gavin Sheehan have got a really promising horse heading the market in that. We'll want to Kim Bailey's given something to say. Let us know. What do you think about the panel's thoughts so far? Batch, Nube Negra. Keels?
Green Teen.
Green Teen. And again, you're getting teased Keels' Sizzlers here. Pre-6 p.m. on your members club. The ultimate Cheltenham Festival experience. You can see the Christmas countdown. When are we doing that? We often... look at this. Keels, have you caught wind of this yet? The ultimate Cheltenham Festival experience for you and 3 friends. Not you, Kills, you work here. The prize includes...
got 3 friends.
5-star hotel. And you get the watch and everything. We've got it official now. Trust me, the content management team are going to throw a watch in. All you have to do, look, is have a bet on the 3rd, the 17th and the 26th of December on the app. And you can win that wonderful prize. Have you ever been to Cheltenham by helicopter? Have you ever been on a helicopter?
Yes, I have, yeah. Not to Cheltenham.
I mean, you're a jump jockey, so nothing would faze you, would it?
No.
I went on one once to Cheltenham with a glass bottom.
Really?
And I spent most of it with my eyes closed. It tells you what you need to know, doesn't it?
I just, I hate flying at the best of times. Terrified of heights. I mean, why do I want to go to Cheltenham? Take an extra.
It was on the first day as well.
Extra set of clothes with me.
Yeah.
I've done the Grand Canyon in helicopter.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's the way you do it. I wouldn't
Vegas,
be. I'd have a panic attack. I had a panic attack on the London Eye once. So just.
I mean, there are definitely people who don't come back from that experience, aren't there?
I had a panic attack on the London Eye when I saw the price of it.
Absolutely. Oh, great stuff. We're off and running then. It's great to have you this afternoon. Keep your questions coming in. That's the question. And who likes something in the first race? Let's get it out of the way, shall we? It's a novice limited handicap chase. And I'll keep wanting to say Houblon de Zobo is the favourite here. Ryan McCue, let's bring you in. You've been waiting in the wings. What's hot and what's not?
Yeah, Halo de Zobo is a favourite at the moment, Dave, at around 4.5, so 7-2 on the exchanges. He's obviously a 4-year-old, so getting the 4-year-old allowance. And Paul Nicholls won a race last week at Newbury with a similar enough type. Il Rodota was racing off around a £5 higher mark than this lad is today. Although he fell last time at Newton Abbot, I thought he jumped well in the main, and he looks a safe enough jumper. He fell at the last. It was more of a kind of tired fall. It was a bit clumsy, and he came down. But Mattie travelled all over him that day. He actually runs tomorrow in the first of Sandown, so it'll be interesting to see how he got on. He gets on tomorrow. But my selection in the race is going to be Mahler's Promise. He's around 5.4 at the moment. So if Keels can do the honours and have £50 win on him, please, on the exchange. The reasons being, I think he tried to make all around Sandown last time over course and distance. And he just wasn't good enough on the day. But he kept at it well to finish second. And I think there's a few question marks around a few of them in this. Champagne Wells jump, and he jumps slightly to the left. I don't think he's a natural over fences. He won over hurdles the last day, but I think he'll need a bit more experience over fences before he's going to win off a marker around 132. Botwell Bridge comes into this off the back of a wind up. He's having his first run of the season as well. So I'd imagine he'll come on for the run. So I think Mahler's Promise is solid in a race where I think there's a few question marks over a couple. So we've had £50 win on Mahler's Promise at 5.4 to kick off proceeding.
Yep, that's done.
Kills, the trade is placed. All right, great stuff. Mahler's Promise then for Sean Houlihan and Seamus Mullins. Let's stick with you, Ryan. You heard what the guys had to say. It's a great weekend, isn't it? Finally, some rain in Ireland too. Team Mullins, they're eventually about to play. Yeah, so many big stars running the weekend. Fernie Hollow declared over fences. Kilcrook declared over hurdles. And when you see Paul Townend on the sidelines at the moment, I'd say he's kicking himself. Sean O'Keefe has come in for the big rise on most of them. Patrick Mullins obviously rides Shackelford Swat tomorrow. So they split it up between them. And I'd say, as I said, Paul Townend for this weekend, he'd be watching with one eye closed and one eye open because he'd want to see them run, but I'm sure he'd want to be on them all. As you said, we've got a bit of rain the last couple of days, so these horses are starting to show up. And at this stage of the season, Willie Mullins kind of needs to get a run into them with the Christmas period looming. Obviously, there's a lot of graded races over the Christmas period, so you'd imagine he needs, especially for the likes of Kilcrow, Fernie Hollow, he needs experience into them over obstacles before he takes on Grade 1 opposition. Gordon Elliott has had a lot of runs with his novice hurdlers so far this season, which is usually the case. But I think today is only giving us a little tease for what's to come over the weekend. The quality starts tomorrow and runs right through to Sunday when you've Cork and Punchestown on in Ireland.
Paul Townend's cat's taking the weekend off, just in case.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be around. He was the one bloke that was hoping the sun would stay out. Listen, we'll get to that. Ryan, one of the brightest young traders Betfair have. We're delighted to have him with us, steering us through. He's going to give you some winners, no doubt, and hopefully for the charity as well. That started off the conversation of the weekend, isn't it? Chat amongst yourselves. We'll pick the best of it, and we'll see which is the most exciting Mullins horse, maybe away from the John Durkan, running this weekend, maybe all season. Are they finally about to warm up over there? I hope so. Let's get back to this race though, guys, if you don't mind. Ryan making the case of Mahler's Promise. As you can see, the Spotlight selection 2, Steve Boo, that rhymed, has gone for that as well. Any love for Halo de Zobo?
Yes.
Yes, but why? Because on the novice form?
Yeah, that novice form. I mean, third to Mai Tai. Not to Mai Tai, sorry. Third to I like to move it. To start with. I like to move it once, twice since over. It's now at 138. Halo de Zobo wasn't beaten that far. Was giving him £10, and he gets in here off 128. Now, obviously, he's fallen. He's fallen since at the last time. But again, Mai Tai and Thunder Rock are two very promising novices. And again, he was giving both of those weight. Yeah. I mean, if you put Mai Tai in here off 128 in a handicap chase, he'd be 1 to 5. You know what I mean? Obviously, Halo de Zobo isn't as good as him, but he does get that 4-year-old's allowance. He's suddenly getting plenty of weight from his rivals. If he jumps, now, you know, we don't know because he's not been over a fence, but I can't believe someone like Paul Nicholls has sent a horse that hasn't run over fences and fell last time to Sandown. If he weren't fairly...
He's only 4 as well,
if he wasn't fairly confident that he could jump. And like, his hurdling was mostly fluent until that fall.
It was a tired fall, wasn't it? I think we can say that.
And I tell you, the 4... Nicholls is 4 from 8 in the last decade when he sent a horse over fences for the first time of having fallen the time before over hurdles.
You had a little. You covered all the bases.
I always have a little look. I want to have a look, see what's the record, because obviously a fall can affect confidence, can't it? But you'd imagine they're fairly confident. It was 6 weeks ago, and you know, there's something about an enthusiastic front running grey at Sandown, isn't there? So I'm quite looking forward to seeing him. But you know, we do not know because he hasn't jumped the fence. But I've backed him.
When he was third behind I Like to Move It, there was a horse in second called Hermes Boys, just hosed up.
Just hosed up at Exeter as well again.
So the form looks really good, doesn't it? My problem, the reason why I didn't go from Kills, I thought it was going to be like a 9-4 shot. I really did. I saw the non-runner come out and I saw the money for him and I thought this is going to be a bit short because there are others in he made case for. And around about, what is he now? 130 Ryan, around about 7-2?
7-2, Dave. Yeah, he's been a little bit weak since the non-runner came out.
Yeah, Marla's Promise is the one for money. And I mate, you're right about Nichols. We spoke to him on the first Racing Post Live Extra, which we did a couple of Mondays ago. We asked him about the My Drogos bill. What does Dan do? Get over it. He won't know and just crack on. You know, it's a fool. So what? Ball looks at it very aggressively, doesn't he? Positively. So I definitely think he's the right favourite. I think that Bob Hope or No Hope, has got claims back down in trip. I think that he is. I'm surprised that the handicapper was a little bit lenient on him. That wasn't a bad race that he ran in Castle Rob and Exeter last time. He'll do for me.
Second run after a wind-up as well, Dave.
We love a bit of that.
So and for wind-up to then to run round Exeter, it must be doing the right job if you can get home round Exeter.
And on screen, Lucid Dreamer, there's a name. I got hope for Bob. Bob Hope. I was a massive fan of Bob Hope. So remember him and Bing Crosby, wasn't it? Absolutely superb stuff. What was the road to Cairo and all that sort of thing? Can't mention any of those lines on here now, chaps. Oh, how the world has changed. So it's Kim Bailey and Dave Bass for me. They've got a big hope in the Winter Novice Hurdle. Did you see that Chianti Classico? Or Chianti Classic that won the bumper at Market Racing for Kim Bailey and Dave Bass the other day.
I did not see it, no.
Kills.
Look good,
Looks a bit of an aeroplane.
Yeah, he came and did a feature show with us the other day in the studio and said it will be a championship bumper horse. It went on 5-2.
Did it?
And it won by 11 lengths, as far as you like. Yeah, proper horse. So they're really revving up. OK, you've got the tips in. Did we get yours, Batch?
No, I fancy... It's very competitive. You could give a case to a few of them. Champagne well, ran well at Plumpton. The only one that would put me off is the Nicky Henderson horse because that's his first run, total opposite to Bob after a wind operation.
Don't fancy him.
No, Mahala's Promise, good run at Sandown, second last time. The Houlihan brothers are good two lads. One works for Gary, one works for Hobbsy. They ride really well. Yeah. Getting a £3 off. So yeah, Mahala's Promise for me. And say Kim Bailey's horse, that was a good run back.
It was, and I like the drop-in trip, actually. He can be a bit keen as well, so it'd be interesting to see what the tactics are. But that Castle Robin race, got a feeling it'll be quite good form. So there you have it. There's the panel's tips. Good luck wherever you're playing. It's the first of 7 here this afternoon on Racing Post Live Studios. We're going to get raw because we're going to warm up. Again, keep your anti-post tips coming in. Ask Kills anything about the impending races coming up. We're sponsoring the feature handicap, aren't we, next Saturday?
We are indeed.
Are you going to go down and give the prize?
No, I'm not.
No way you're going to be at the bar.
No way I'm going down there.
Oh, I don't believe that.
No, I have other plans next week. I'm actually on holiday for a week after.
Oh, you're getting rid of you again
next Friday.
How much have you taken this year, Kills? It's like
the problem is I took none early in the season because it was COVID.
Well, nowhere to go.
Like I've still got nowhere to go, but I've got to take the holiday. So
yeah,
the clubs will be out when they go.
No, they will be as long as it's not chucking it down with rain. I'll be out. Yeah.
Oh, and it's the irony of it is here comes the rain. Isn't it?
All right, important start here because it's straight into the railways, isn't it?
Yeah, Mattie, talk to us about this then as the flag goes up in the first.
Yeah, these free fences, they always say if you meet the first one well, you meet the other two well. But
if you don't meet it well as a jockey, what are you thinking? We're just waiting for
I've got another two close up to jump.
Here we go. Close your eyes.
Yeah, just shut your eyes.
You're not singing Roxanne this time. All right, we're off and we're flying then. And the first thing to say hello to Zobo. And he's nicely switched off at the back in Harry Cobden. In fact, he's going to watch them all over. As Zion ex-Nichols first-time cheap pieces, Paige Fuller. All the railway fancies. I suppose you could be a bit picky about Bothwell Bridge, Nicky Henderson's horse. Very keen out the back is Champagne Well. Marla's Promise right up there. We'll get to Ryan in second. That's the second of the railway fences.
Yeah, they're all travelling a bit keen, some of them. They might probably go steady on it.
I'm certainly not arguing with how my lads jump.
No, he picked that one.
He's up really well, isn't he?
And they seem to be going a fair enough lick.
Well, this was, I did say he was a front runner, but there were others in the race, so maybe they've looked at it and thought, well, we're not going to get involved.
Well, here was my issue with Halo de Zobo as well, before we go to Ryan for a market update, coming into the home straight for the first time.
I think they're going steady, Dave.
He hasn't quite got home. Is that because he'd done a bit too much in those hurdle races?
I think he ran against some very good horses.
Yeah, because he actually coming to the last at Worcester, he looked like he had I Like to Move It in trouble, didn't he? So, he was still a bit green. We know he's a baby, that horse, but interesting they're switching him off. Okay then, Ryan, they're coming to is this the pond fence?
Pond fence, this on. You got it
Oh,
right.
I got one right. Happy days. That was 100 to 1 shot. Okay, we're all over it safely. Ryan, what's the market like here?
It's hard to tell. Well, they're not. If they're saying 26 miles an hour.
The famous pond fence, Dave, after last week's famous fence at Newbury. Marla's Promise leads. He's still 7-2 and running, having BSP at 4-1. The one they don't like in running the Champagne Well is jumping sketchy out the back. He's out to 10-1. Bothwell Bridge, though, just after hitting the front first run of the season. He's jumping well, Bothwell Bridge. He was really big at that one. He's into around 13 days and running at the moment and only getting shorter. Halo Desolvo is travelling well in behind now and closing up, but Champagne Well and Bob Hope or No Hope are the two big drifters early on.
I didn't want to hear that, Ryan. I did not want to hear that. You're right. The world famous
Bothwell Bridge was a real late move, wasn't he? Because I think his BSP was only 3.77. So that was a big move right at the death.
Can I tell you, we've got a little bit of housekeeping coming for the first. James Byrne is on course for us today. He says James King, obviously, from the first race, on the soft side, but not bottomless, a little bit loose in places. We'll get to that after the race. So, I don't know, if you thought you were going to be on a good ground, you're very close to the track kills, aren't you? And I phoned you this morning and said, where's this rain?
There was nothing in the ground where I am. It was rock hard. There was barely anything last night. It was the ground was a bit damp, but it was still hard. I can't be seeing it that much on the soft side at Sandown, not on the chase course.
We will be giving you the times as we go. Remind that we go down to Exeter as well. And the one thing we can say is that Dave Bass, as Dave Bass likes to do, and said, come on, time to get on with it. That's called out Champagne Well a little bit, Batch, isn't it?
Yeah, he's not really been on his game at all since day dot, really. So he's just jumping a bit sketchy.
How are you feeling about Marlers?
Yeah, travelling well, yeah. They just keep changing the lead a bit. They're not happy with the pace. And then, as I say, Bassie's... He loves it in front, Bassie. Marla's done well then, like that.
Yeah, he did.
Really well.
My grade just backed off the last two.
Yeah, Halo was nearly in the clouds there, wasn't he? Marla's is absolutely jumping well. Ryan, you must be getting excited as we come up to near the railway fences.
Yeah, he's jumping well in front. He's after hitting the front now from Bob Up or No Hope. But I think Nick Boyinville is still travelling fairly sweetly on Bothwell Bridge, and he's into even money now, in around 11-10. So he's the one the punters want to be beating.
At that point,
long way from
long way home.
Yeah, he looks a bit short. He does look short.
Hash of that water.
Yeah, okay, we'll see. So he's back in trip, Bob Hope or No Hope. I haven't torn up my ticket yet. Bothwell Bridge, first time out for Nicky Henderson. They've got to be John Bomb, basically, to win first time out.
He's massively on the drift now. He's struggling.
Yeah, not even Everton could get over the line. All right, that was another good one. Okay, Halo's gone. Just made a terrible error at the first in the railways. And now, all of a sudden, Bob Hope or No Hope, back on the bridle. Marla's is the one, though, surely according to the market.
Marla's is the traveller.
Go on, Tommy.
Yeah, you're getting excited now, but Batch, I think it's between the two, isn't it?
Between the two, yeah, it's got to be.
Come on then, the Bob.
Nico's struggling. That doesn't win for me.
He's just feeling he's having a blow.
Between me and you, Dave.
Yeah, Champagne Well now filling his lungs. You've seen stranger things. Conor Brace, he can get him up for Virgil O'Brien. But Bob
He's not out of this.
We know he stays. What is Sean Houlihan holding on to, Keels?
It's hard to say, but I mean, he's run over further, isn't he? He didn't get home over further last time, but I mean... 2.5 miles, he should be fine.
Yeah.
But Champagne Well's coming into it
This is it.
He's jumped slowly, stickily, but he's right on him. And
you're all waiting for me to put another zero on him. It's not happening. Right, the world famous pond fence, upsides, Marlers. Bob Hope or No Hope still there. Bothwell Bridge filling his lungs. Even Zion not totally done with. Champagne Well, he's got to go low at some point, hasn't he? He's the finisher. Marlers now takes it up. Finally, Sean Houlihan has been patient. 2 out then.
Bothwell coming
back.
Absolutely winged it. Bob Hope or No Hope clipped it. That's the end of him. Bothwell Bridge has run a massive race. Win, lose or draw. And he did win first time out last season. They're putting clear of Champagne Well. The last fence. It's tough home from here, Batch.
It is tough. He needs to jump this.
Oh, he's out on his feet, you wager, as well. Oh, and Bothwell Bridge goes on for it. We thought he might be done. This is some performance this by the 6-year-old. After the wind up. Yeah. Had a little blow on the far side. He's basically outstayed him, hasn't he? Bob Hope or No Hope coming back. Strange run that. Xylon's going to get third. Marla's out on his feet in second. Champagne Well flattered to the sea. That is the first of 7 races this afternoon.
They did finish very tired, didn't they? I don't know whether it's not a good race or what, but they look...
Do you know what it is? I think they've gone slow early doors and they're just doing too much. You need him to switch. If you're as a jockey, you need him to switch off.
He wanted to wait, Sean Houlihan, didn't he? And then he sort of Bob hit the third.
Hindsight's the wonderful thing. He might have said, just go on, get him switched off, go on. He's one of those. He might have come back in and think, you know what, I might have rode a different race.
Let's go to Ryan. For 9/10 of that race, Ryan, you must have thought you were landing the charity bet.
Yeah, I thought Sean Houlihan gave him a good ride at Mallows Promise, because David Bass was trying to force it the whole way and he wanted to get him out of his comfort zone. But Sean Houlihan took a pull about 3 out and let him go on past him before staying on. He beat him fairly comfortably in the end, Bob Hope or no hope. So I thought he gave him an intelligent ride there by letting him go on. But he hit 1.33 in running, so 3-1 on Mallows Promise went. It was a good performance, though, by Bothwell Bridge when you consider he jumped a bit high at his fences and he looked a little bit novice-y, given it was his first run over fences. Like, that was off a mark of 131. So you'd imagine there's another couple of races to be won over fences with him, and he could really progress. He's lightly enough raced. Champagne Well ran a big race too. He hit 7-4 was the lowest he hit in running. Having looked like he's going to be tailed off at one stage. They'll either have to sort his jumping out or maybe going back left-handed might suit him better as he jumps to the left. One or the other, they might end up going back over hurdles with him. But I think Bothwell Bridge, it was a really good performance considering he was a little bit high in his fences, and I'd say he'll improve plenty for that, given it was his first run of the season.
Yeah, hard to argue with that, Kills.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But I mean, I am confused about the ground. I'm not sure now. I mean, okay, it was a bit of a stop-start. They went slow, then speeded up, and they probably got knackered. But the clock, as they went past, said 5:20. That's 20 seconds slower than standard.
And they were going average sort of speed, weren't they?
They crawled early. And that's what, like Ryan said, it gave him a good ride. But races can be won or lost in the first
start
2 or 3
slowly,
furlongs.
finish fast, right? So we know that usually in steadily run races you see some all right finishing splits. So
it's all right starting slowly, but if you're also not keen, you also can still do too much, especially round Sandown.
Let's go to Ian McCaskill. What's the weather doing overnight in your back garden?
It's not supposed to be doing too much.
Because
there's supposed to be a little bit, but
keep waiting for this. What are we going to see? Because there was few possible abandonments, weren't there? Mainly in the Midlands and up north this week, and it wasn't super cold, was it? I know we had Storm Arwen and all that thing, but it wasn't like eye of the storm stuff, was it? When are we going to pay for this watering that the courses have had to do? They had to do it.
Well, I think in general they had to do watering this much, but they would be expecting more water to fall in rain than they've actually put on, wouldn't they? So
yeah, the last 3 years this Sandown meeting's been on heavy.
I don't think we can complain about it. Yeah.
No, we're not. Absolutely, it's going to turn. If you look at the forecast anywhere in the southeast where we are, certainly for sure, it's rain.
Yeah, no, literally just a bit of drizzle forecast overnight, nothing else. So we're not looking at a material change in the ground, not a Sandown anyway.
We've got the national fences as well, haven't we, tomorrow? The Beecher comes back.
We have indeed.
Yeah,
that's a serious race, isn't it? Chris's Dream 162, keeping Hogan's Height just out of the handicap and stuff. So if you want to know what's going to win that, Kills will tell you. Have you done your sizzlers then? I'm assuming
I have, mate. Yeah, I had
all
to, didn't I?
Ready
Come in here, haven't I?
He still wasn't here for breakfast, I can tell you.
Come in here today, you know.
Exactly that. Well, we're delighted to have you, Keels, Batch, Ryan McCue as well. It's great stuff, isn't it? And we'll keep an eye on those times at Sandown. Is it a little bit softer on the foot than perhaps we expected? Everyone expected. All right, let's go along, shall we, to Exeter. And it's a novice chase. Really changing tack here. These are exciting, aren't they? And this looks like a pretty solid race, doesn't it? Before we get the panellist selections, let's see what Ryan McCue makes of it.
Yeah, Boot Hill is even money. The dead 2.0 on the exchange, Dave, ahead of Adramel, who's in there 4.7. It's 8.0 Gladiator Allen and 8.6 Champagne Super Over. For me, I don't know what the lads think. I think this is pretty straightforward for Boot Hill. I think he'll win. So we're going to have £50 to get our money back that we lost from Matters Promise in the last race. He's just gone a little bit shorter than evens at the moment, but I couldn't find another bet in the race. I was trying to look for something at a bit of bigger price or in the place market, but I'm just going to keep it simple with Boot Hill. I think he could be a lot short in even money. I know it's his first run over fences, but the same can be said for
right. What do you want me to take? Put it up at evens or just
take
it up? It's shortened quite dramatically just now. Big chunk, yeah.
Maybe leave it for now, Keels. I don't really want to be taking for a charity. I don't really want to be taking 189 for £50. So
right, okay.
we might leave it for now.
Shall I leave a request up at evens?
Yeah, leave it up at evens, Keels, please. Yeah, he might drift back out. The last day at Ascot off a mark of 135, he travelled much better than that mark. The lack of a run probably caught him out as his first start of the season. He had 2 runs on point to points where he finished second in both, so clear around them both, which is promising to see. And I just think Adramel wants heavy ground. He's best on heavy ground. He's having his first run of the season, so Boot Hill has that over him. And the rest are of no interest to me today. I do think Champagne Super Over. It'll be interesting to follow, go on handicapping, but I think Boot Hill, especially he's had the run, is a class above these. Obviously, Adramel has decent back form, but was pulled up the last twice we've seen. So I think hopefully we'll get matched at even money on the exchange.
Thanks, Ryan. I reckon you're echoing what a lot of people are thinking out there. That was a really good preview of the race. We'll find out what Kills and Batch and myself think as well after a couple of socials. You can see Spotlight Verdict Going with Ryan as well. And Ronald McGinley comes on. Welcome on, mate. And he says, Bootill and Mr. Whittaker double. Where's Mr. Whittaker running? He must be at Sedgefield, is he? Yeah,
Must
Mr.
be
Whittaker.
Sedgefield, yeah.
In the Tim Leslie colours now.
Sedgefield, is he?
Yeah, that's right. Still novice company, isn't he? Good luck with that, my man. Yeah, Bootill, we'll get to him in a second. Then Andrew Naunton also says, Bootill going to romp up and then win the Arkle, question mark. Woo, who did Bootill beat in his bumper is the question I put to you. It was a certain Bothwell Bridge. And that's when he started getting really, really exciting. I just wonder about that Soaring Glory Ascot form. Was it a bit of a red herring? I know Soaring Glory was unsuited by the Joey Fielden tactical scenario.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't read anything. I wouldn't read anything into Soaring Glory's run there. I mean, Leon Cavallo has run well since, isn't it?
He's run all right. Megan's run terribly.
Listen, I don't think it's a bad piece of form. I would take issue with him being completely different class because I think Adriel's a pretty decent horse, and when you've got the price discrepancy between those two as it is.
Adriel won over hurdles this time last year. He's got a lot to prove.
He's officially a £4 better horse on ratings at the moment. And he looked really promising at the start of last season. And he went to the 2 festivals and he didn't perform.
And is this clean slate time for Adriel?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I think he's very talented. I think Boot Hill's got a bit of reputation about him that that he hasn't. I mean that Taunton win is not brilliant form, is it?
Before we go to bats, you find this with Harry Fry horses. He has won one. He sent out Forever Blessed, didn't he, to make it 2 from 2 in the juvenile earlier on at Sandown. Do you find that Harry Fry's horses, for whatever reason, they do seem to be a point shorter than
Yeah, they can do. Yeah, definitely. I mean, the same for Dan Skelton as well.
He's one of the best.
He has loads of winners. But
he's made name for himself for being a target trainer, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say the market often gets it right with his horses. Sam Twister-Davies is on. Let's go to Batch then. Exeter, stiff track. Lots of the greats have been there. However, the fences.
Lovely fences for novices. Yeah,
easier than one might.
Yeah,
think.
they're definitely easier. When you compare fences, you sort of fences that there have a good belly, good solid belly. Where Exeter, when you go and you see jockeys giving them a nudge with their shoulder. There's a bit of give round Exeter, so you can get away with a few things. And most of the starts are on the uphill, so that's always good. If you've got a keen one or one that's a little bit dodgy, you can get them back on their hocks and get them into it. And
then we were talking about this before we came in, so it's great to have Batch here. Why do we see the fallers at Exeter? Because that third last kills, it must be tiredness, doesn't it?
It's got to be, a lot of it would be tiredness.
When was the last time you saw anything finishing like a train over fences?
You don't really.
You don't do
it there.
I mean, you don't do it there.
They pull themselves up a bit, don't they, as well?
Yeah, I mean you're talking about bottomless ground a lot of the time as well. It can get very deep there.
And it's over a mile finish. As soon as you hit that bottom of that hill, it is all climb.
This is a good race, isn't it? Because you've got Elixir to Nuts at what is he? Did he win a Tolworth?
He won a Tolworth for Saturday.
He won a Tolworth. He's
only 7 still.
He's only 7. Yeah, he's got.
And their horses are in fine form. They had a double yesterday.
Share of problems. Market doesn't seem to like him at all.
No, it doesn't.
I like him.
It's just flowing cadenza. Do you?
I like him. Yeah.
Oh, I loved him as a novice hurdler.
Yeah. Brendan likes him. Touchwood. He said he's been schooling really well at home and.
He's having a good season, Brendan Powell.
Oh, you know what? Lovely lad. It's great to see. He had a bit of time with the Tizards. Then they got the Irish fella over, and then he couldn't come over. And then Robbie Power.
The Irish,
the Irish fella.
That fella.
And Brendan, do you know what? He's always been a top rider.
He's certainly showing it, and it's a big chance.
I'll give this horse a chance. I fancy him more than I do Adramel. I know Ricky did say he'd make a good jumper of a fence. Old Ricky.
Keels, what we might do, Keels, is we want to put click on keep so we get the bet and running there. And I'd imagine he'll hit even money at some stage. Right. Yeah, I'd say we might be best doing that because he doesn't look like he's going to go even money at the moment. But you'd imagine he's going to go off around 10 to 11 that he will hit evens in running. So if you just hit keep, we should get that match.
That is done, mate. It's on.
Lovely, Keels. Thank you. He's jumping off around 4.
We haven't mentioned Champagne Super over.
He's my selection.
He is a big
in Albert's Bartlett. Really? 7 for
Cheltenham. Bartlett ran over 3 mile or 2 mile on his return, didn't he?
And Murphy could not be in much better nick at the moment. He had treble yesterday, winners all over the place. And that form, I think last time at Carlisle, we might see it well advertised. Warlord, of course, goes for the Henry VIII, doesn't he? And again, another Tizard horse. And the second goes as well, doesn't it? Manila Drama. And Sheldon's no bad horse. He badly needed it that day. I think he'll come on for that. I am with Ryan, though. I do see the handicapping angle. And of course, we know if you get beaten in an novice chase by something more superior, and they are often running, you can't mess around with a handicapper. But as you might have wanted to see, Batch, good luck wherever you're playing second race at 205. Elixir de Nuts, he's got them strung out, and he loves it out in front, this bloke.
He's loving it, and I don't want to give him the commentator's curse, but he's jumped the first few fences. He was spot on at a couple, long at one, and then he just met that last one. He went in and he danced like John Travolta on it. He was brilliant. Well,
the market likes Boot Hill a lot, Keels. Why is that? He's
just well, I think Adrimel's been a little bit sticky at the back, hasn't he? He's one that, he's well over doubled in price since then, and he's not looking particularly happy with himself.
I remember Ricky Dicky Johnson said to me about Adrimel, he takes some knowing as well, so he's... First time out of offences.
Yeah, didn't he come a miles back to win that race at Warwick?
Yes, he did. Look beat half the track, didn't he?
Yeah.
The Grade 2 that he won, it was?
Yeah, it was the Grade 2, the Albert Bartlett trial.
Oh, yeah, the Albert Bartlett, yeah.
That old Albert Bartlett trial.
I remember it well.
You ever won one of them?
Yeah, I won it. I won that race, yeah. Me and Carruthers.
If you were, Adrimel stinks, doesn't it, Ryan?
Yeah, he's terrible.
Ryan, what's he gone out to?
He's out to 20 to 1, Dave, and I'm just looking at his form there. He wore cheap pieces the last 3 days, 3 times he ran. No cheap piece today. I'd say they'll be putting them on him the next day because I think he's racing lazily more than anything. I think he's well able to jump a fence. He's just getting in a bit tight and being lazy more so, in my opinion, than anything. He's out to 16 to 1. Boot Hill, we still haven't got matched with or even money bet. He's out to around 194, so hopefully we'll get matched before he gets too much shorter. Then if he gets bigger, we won't.
Well, he's sitting in fourth, so there's every chance that might happen. Elixir's just puts on the brakes a little bit. Champagne Super overdoing everything's lovely under Adrian Heskin at the moment. A little bit keen in third is Gladiator Alain. Get the feeling he's not quite shown his best yet. Could he be a chaser in the making? I was about to say, Hugh Masson, you can put another 0 on Adrimel, but he's coming back into it a little bit, Batch.
Yeah, he's come back on the bridle, but just remember that they're going downhill with it, so it's easier for him. As Ryan just said there, he's running behind the bridle, he's coming downhill now. It's a little bit easier for him. It'd be interesting if he still goes like this when he meets the rising ground in a minute.
Could be a bit of a monkey, couldn't it?
Could
if
be,
they get tired, he's the one that he will stay really well. But
we have to mention Flowing Cadenza as well. James Best with Bob Butler still in the mix as well. Here are these lovely inviting fences, and he's just given him something to think about now, Batch, isn't he, on Champagne Super over. Boot Hill pulls out for a run.
Yeah, he's getting a clear run at these fences, old Sammy. Still travelling well, jumping well. Here you go, look. He's off. Adrimel's off the bridle again.
Yeah.
It's a lovely sight, isn't it? And we're on the far side. I'm going to say 6 out. Oh, he's really stood off that.
Lovely, yeah.
What you want to see,
Brendan
isn't it?
just sat there, let him do what he did. He knew what he had, and he just come up out of his hands.
Well, how are you feeling about the champagne, Kills? If anyone that knows Kills out there, it's his favourite tipple of choice.
He's going okay, mate. He's he hasn't done anything wrong at all. We know he stays. It was a bit of a clumsy jump then, but I think there was a couple of there.
I mean, Johnny Burke is probably thinking, come on, Adrimel, the rider of Adrimel. What are you doing to me?
Yeah, he's not interested at all, is he, Kills? He just doesn't...
No, just doesn't seem to...
Well, they're all still standing, and those lovely fences have been really attacked by most of the runners, none more so than Elixir de Nuts. But are they just teeing it up, Ryan McCue, as we come to this famous fourth last, another famous fence for Boot Hill?
You know, when Elixir de Nuts was on form, he really did find plenty from the front, didn't he?
Ryan, what's the market saying?
We've got our bet matched on Boot Hill, but now he's a couple of lengths to find with Elixir de Nuts and Champagne Super over who aren't stopping. 11 to 10 Boot Hill. Now out to 6 to 4. So as you said, they're turning to the straight now with 3 to jump.
I don't know, Kills. He's sort of he's hard one to call at the moment, Boot Hill, isn't it? Is he sort of responding a bit?
Yeah, I mean, I actually wonder how good he is. I just think he's a bit overrated. It doesn't mean he won't win this race, but I'm not convinced that he's a superstar that certain people thought he was.
Elixir de Nuts just about in front. Gladiator, Alain then, aren't the Williams having a good day if this bloke comes up?
Yeah, well, this is
Boot Hill's gone. He's absolutely fallen. You can put another 0 on that
Champagne,
now.
Super over.
He should be the stayer in the pack, shouldn't he? Come on, Champagne, up you come, Sue out.
Go on, B!
Oh, look, Gladiator came down. I'll tell you what, Batch,
go on, B!
Now, we know they pulled themselves up.
Come on, B!
So Elixir de Nuts, this would be lovely to see if he is back up and running.
He's exhausted.
Here we come to the last.
Go on, B.
Up
Yes,
over it.
go on,
Brilliant
B.
round of jumping it has been. Now, will he pull himself up?
Go on, B.
Champagne Super over
Come
coming
on.
back. Now, I don't know why they got that path there, Elixir.
Come on, B.
Oh, well done, Mattie Batch. I'll tell you what, Gladiator is going to get him. I don't believe it.
Oh!
On the nod. While we let Batch recover, I'll tell you what, and if you followed him, Batch, you're thinking everywhere, bar the line. Aren't you, Ryan McCue?
1.15, so nearly 7 to 1 on. Elixir de Nuts was matched at 28 the high. of Gladiator Allen. There's no offers in the photo.
He's 100 on, unfortunately.
Yeah, it looks like he's just got up. Really good ride that from Chester Williams.
Such an Exeter finish, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I know we're going to talk about that a bit because we kind of said it pre-race, don't we? Lovely fences to jump back, says, but it's slow motion finishes all the time there, Keels.
That's right. I mean,
they got a path there so they can fly leap that. They got the crowd. What?
If you remember the Haldon Gold Cup, I mean, it was those colours, Elixir de Nuts colours. Eldorado Allen has just got back up to beat Hitman.
And that's what Exeter does here. I kept a race here one day. How I kept it, I have absolutely wiped the second out because my horse just went and saw the paddock, wiped it out.
You can get retrospective bans, you know, Batchelor.
Yeah.
VAR is coming into play.
My mate's pulled up, he's swearing at me, and I said, don't worry, you'll get it in the steward's room in a minute. And lucky I could talk, I got it.
You can certainly do that, Batch.
I kept it.
Oh, it's galling. Because he looks beaten, doesn't he? I mean, he's hit the second last Gladiator Allen, and on kills on ratings, he didn't really. I mean, he was the one that had it all to find, wasn't he?
Yeah, he had plenty of fine, but you know, horses improve for fences, don't they?
And coming from such quarters as well.
He's done just that. I mean, I think there was some given it was Exeter, there was some sketchy jumping all the way around from various horses. I don't know how solid the form's going to turn out to be, but
Boot Hill.
That went out like a light, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
that went from travelling. Coming up the straight, and it looked beat.
We got two horses there with a forward slash in their form, which means that they've had a lengthy layoff, basically. And one of them was Elixir de Nuts, so you have to say it's back up and running. And
that looked good.
Slightly sharper track. I know he's a Sandown. I know he's one at Cheltenham.
Boot Hill runs under rules all 2 miles. He's gone a 2 mile free at Exeter. You won't get much stiffer than that.
Do you think we might have seen a Grand Annual horse in here?
No.
You don't think so?
I wouldn't have thought they jumped well enough.
Elixir de Nuts, I don't know. That's a bit.
I thought he jumped really well.
Yeah, I don't think he's. I wouldn't have thought he'd be good enough.
Do you know what? I just think
slick enough, not for a Grand National.
It's the experience, though, isn't it? That's the problem. Yeah. He's what he's gaining more of. I don't know.
Again, Exeter's slightly different to Cheltenham as well,
of course it is. Yeah.
I think we're looking at least. I think the first 3 will all win a handicap. That's for sure. Where it will be, I don't know. But Gladiator Allen, 126 then he arrived with. He did whack a horse called Valores. Painful memories for me having put that up at Newcastle. But he's on his day, quite a good horse of Alan King's. He whacked him at Ascot over hurdles. And look, they've won 2 races now. So whatever the Williams team have got. And to pick himself back up from that era too. That's what I mean about it. All the jocks and the trainers tell you they're easy to jump or easier than other places. And yet in the home straight.
It's tiredness. And you know what as well, you'd often see, and Brendan probably would have liked a bit of company earlier because I think Alex might have just picked up again, because he come into the straight and Champagne joined him, and that spurred him on again.
Yeah,
and
do you think Champagne as Super Over has run well over a trip sharper than his best? Again, they're just getting him ready.
Yeah, I think he's getting there. Yeah. I mean, he's definitely a better run than first time. He's gone up in trip. He does want further. He's going to win. He'll win a fair prize.
He's learned from Gordon Elliott, hasn't he?
He's galloped all the way to the line, and he hasn't been beaten that far.
No, that's right.
He just stays.
In Ireland, the top yards will run their horses over. Until they get to the big day, they run over a trip short of their best, don't they? They get experience, it sharpens them up, and then over the trip they go.
There's not many horses, Dave, that don't need a run. It's like footballers. You need that match, the game, fitness, and it's the same with horses. You can do as much as you can at home, but there's nothing that's going to replicate coming here, jumping, how many fences you have to jump, and doing it on the racecourse.
You were nutted there, my man.
Nutted.
That
was a good price and all, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Never been afraid of a price. Talking of which, we've got to move on. It's the feature race of the day. It's the Winter Hill Novice Hurdle. The Ballymore Winter Hill Novice Hurdle have been one with some really good horses.
Yeah, there's only 5 in here, so hopefully I'll get a finisher because I've had 2 at the moment. Adramel and Halo.
And you're snooker because the last time we had you on, you said, I'm just going to follow Barry. It's over to Ryan.
Ryan, yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting finishers, Keels, but they're not collecting me any money, so I may as well be pulling up or falling. This next race, Brave Kingdom heads to betting Dave at 2.12, so just over 11 to 10. He looked really impressive at Shep, so it's a really likeable attitude, the horse. He jumped really well that day. It was a big field novice hurdle on that occasion. That was his first start for Paul Nichols. He obviously transferred from Harry Whittington, like a lot of them horses in the same colours. I'm not going to, after Boot Hill, after getting well beat there, I'm not going to back him at around 11 to 10. So I'm going to put up Harper's Brook in the place market. If Keels can do the honours, please, and have £40 on him at around 3 to 1. I think that represents a little bit of value. When you look through his form, he won a point-to-point in the UK before finishing 3rd in a bumper at Wetherby. The winner went on to win a novice hurdle at Aintree since in the Trevor Hemmings colours. And Famous Bridge, who he beat the last day, went on to beat a horse of Warren Greatrix. It's called, the name actually escapes me, but he's a fair enough horse. I think the horse he beat the last day, Famous Bridge. So his form is there in the book. He's a likeable attitude. Although he might have been second the last day, a horse ran out the last in Carlisle when probably would have put it up to him. I just think Fair Frontier, who's favoured in that 2-place market, who's a short price in that. I think he's flattered by his win the last day at Worcester. It was 41 length winner. So I'm going to swerve him. And Harper's Brook, as I said, I think he's a likeable horse, but although the favourite is the one they all have to beat, I just think I value it around 3-1 Harper's Brook in the 2-place market.
Very interesting indeed for Ben Pauling, who had a welcome winner earlier in the week, and a horse that maybe should have won at Southwell as well. It's a tidy little race, isn't it? And you see where Ryan's going. Brave Kingdom then, Kills. Let's start off with you. He looked imperious on his debut for Nichols, didn't he, at Chepstow, in a Mickey Mouse race?
He did, yeah. This is the problem. They've all won Mickey Mouse races at the end of the day. Some of them have won them very easily. He did. The time figure is apparently good and probably better than some of the others. But, you know, I don't understand how you look at these races and make a horse that short when you know so little about it. I suppose you take him, well, this is the champion trainer.
That's a lot of it, don't you think?
In a great race, yeah. I mean, if anybody is say for sure that his form is miles better than everything else, it's because it ain't. You just don't know. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand breeding when it comes to jumps either. By the way, I mean this.
Go on.
This Brave Kingdom is out of a mare who's had 7 previous foals. She's sprint bred and she's only had 1 5-furlong winner. The next thing you know, she's sent to Brave Munsunnian and then producing a 2.5 mile hurdler. Yeah. You know, how does that work?
Very, very.
So I don't know. But I mean, I came down. I thought both Fair Frontier and Lossy Mouse at least as interesting given their prices. Fair Frontier was the one that I went for. Now, yes, he could be flattered by winning 41 lengths of Worcester, but you don't know because it was a rubbish race. But the time before, when trained in Ireland, he was beaten ahead by Garda So, which is one of Gordon Elliott's, who's come out and absolutely hacked up in a canter.
Looks good, doesn't he?
Got given an official mark of 141. There's plenty of horses behind Fair Frontier that are rated in the 120s now in Ireland. So, you know, I think that gives us a fair idea that this is pretty useful. Yeah. Whether useful means good enough to beat Brave Kingdom, we don't know. But again, you know, it's easy enough to argue that Lossy Mouth bolting up in two handicaps has the better form.
All of the above. All of the above. I was just looking at Tom Lacey's last 10 days, and T-Clipper ran a stinker, didn't it, at Newbury in that eventful Nassalam race. But he has had a winner at Utox.
Yeah, I don't think T-Clipper's an absolute natural for fences.
Maybe not, but he's
so
run to form, as you'll see on your race cards out there if you're following us while watching the Race Bros website. He is by far the lowest of these. Actually, Ben Paul is not far off him, but Ben is, I think, a bit more resurgent. Interesting, isn't it? We've got Dan and Harry Skelton having the outside here for Darren Yates. See Black Lion in the week?
Yeah, he won, didn't he? Yeah.
That was a right old gamble, Kills. Did you get any of that?
I didn't. No, I didn't get involved.
It was an eye catcher on his return.
Where did he win up?
They went for him. Was it?
It's up north, wasn't it? Was it?
It was
Haydock.
Yeah.
Haydock.
Was it Haydock? It was Haydock.
Yeah.
It was
Wednesday, yeah.
In the Veterans Chase.
Haydock Veterans Chase, yeah.
It was this weekend, a couple of years ago, that he was hosing up at a Beaches Chase at 7-4. You know, so after Darren paid all that money for him, it's great to see him back. Any love for Viva La Villa? Oh, there's a few. There's a silence, definitely silent there. How can we know? That's the thing.
Let's see it. Keats is.
It's again, given margin of win last time and style of success, you would have to put one of the smallest figures on that performance.
Well, we have done 112.
Yeah, and then suggest that it's got the most to find. But if you remember, my Drogo started with a win at Newbury, beat that nutcase.
In the John Bond race.
Everybody ignored him in a graded race at Ascot next time, and he bolted up.
Yeah.
He's a massive drifter. So horses can improve very, very, very quickly when they're this young and this unexposed.
Lossy Mouth is interesting, isn't it? I mean, Adramel will be picking themselves up from that, I guess. But he comes here 2 from 2. He's obviously had a few problems. He wears blinkers and all that sort of thing.
Blinkers back on. He's had cheek pieces on as well.
Most experienced of them. All of these are last time out winners as well. I'm with Fair Frontier. Spoke to Kim Bailey not long after he won, and he said we're just waiting for the ground for him. Basically, where do we go? I thought they were going to find another novice for him. So the fact they're throwing him in here for a team that are going very well, he'll do for me. He had a happy-go-lucky beating in this race a couple of years ago.
I think I do like Brave Kingdom. Visually, what you saw, as you say, what he beat, you don't know, but what you saw visually, it looked good. But when you watched Fair Frontier's run at Worcester, now, he won, but he jumped right. So this track's going to suit him today. So he's done a lot wrong. So to me, this track will bring improvement from him.
Before we go to Ryan, how much of the market do we take on this? You know, punters out there want to learn from Paul Kealy. How much do we look at Viva La Villa from the top team of Harry and Dan Skelton and think, well, they obviously don't fancy it?
As I said before, my Drogo in his second run last year in Grady Company was a massive drifter.
So completely ignored
and hacked up. So, you know, I try not to pay too much attention to the market. I mean, the only thing, if I fancy something that drifts, I tend to back it again.
Oh yes, you do.
You know what I mean? So, you know, I always try to do that. So, it doesn't worry me too much. I think he's the price he should, you know, roughly the price he should be, given the level of form he's shown compared to what the others look like they've shown.
Okay, all right, and of course Brave Kingdom on the other side of that is really strong, isn't he? You know, so you have to imagine that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we have got to remember that he also looked pretty good when winning a bumper. So it's just not one. It's not just one line of form he's got.
Yeah, I checked out that bumper
to his name.
Not bad at all at Fontwell. Let's get some socials up before we go to Ryan then, and after we've spoken, see where all the money's queuing up for. And Andy Sim, welcome back, Andy. Says Fair Frontier, a small bet in a tricky race. Yes, of course, we got we had the poll out there, didn't we? Who wins the Ballymore? Of course, not the Ballymore in March, but this is a Ballymore trial with a name. And Chris Timms, welcome back, Tim. Afternoon, everyone. All over Brave Kingdom here. Very confident then. Harry Durham was very bullish on this horse. Yeah.
He's very bullish on all horses.
You think so?
Every series column he mentions everything.
It's a big year, of course. Last year,
you've got to be able to judge people when you're watching all these interviews, because some people are really pessimistic, other people are really optimistic, aren't they?
You've got eyes, not ears, Keels, isn't it? As we keep saying. Yeah. And Hugh Masson, welcome back. Hugh says, I like Fair Frontiers. Dropping in Tripper Plus looks hard work out there. Do we think he's going to try and do what he did at Worcester and just crack on with it? I mean, it's
Brave Kingdom did as well, didn't he? So, you know, we'll have to wait and see.
Interesting, yeah.
I
mean, the thing is, when you get these weak races and you get good horses, I mean, sometimes they just go off ahead and do it, just stay out of the way of everything else. Like, you know,
best way to do it.
But when they go into better company, they actually think, well, actually, I could do with a lead. You know what I mean? You can change all to go. So none of these are yet confirmed natural front runners.
Well, hopefully your mind's, you know, getting inside the mind of Dave Orton, Paul Kealy and Mattie Batch. Wow, but we'll try and do
you've
that.
You've got a couple of glasses of wine while you're doing that.
I was saying you won't see a lot
I thought you'd had a couple for breakfast, Keels.
All right. Keats can see you through my ears.
We're just watching the replay of Lossymouth going and doing a business at Carlisle. Any love for him, or is it all about Brave Kingdom, Ryan McCue?
Yeah, Lossymouth, he's steady enough at around 9.2. Brave Kingdom is a drifter. It was 11 to 10. He's out to 11 to 8 now in the exchange at around 2.36, give or take. Fair Frontier has come in for decent support. 3.8 having been 4.1 when we last spoke. Harper's Brook, there's a few quid around for him as well. But I just think Brave Kingdom's drifting and it's causing a few quid knocking around then for the rest in the race. I think punters at the moment laid on are out to get Brave Kingdom. Although as I'm talking, he's into about 2.28 at the moment. So heading back towards 5 to 4. But definitely Brave Kingdom is weaker than punters would like if they took the 11 to 10.
Isn't that interesting? Thank you, Ryan McCue. This is the beauty of Racing Post Live. We show you the real market. This is what the bookies are doing. This is, you know, is where all the trading is. The late money, where's it coming from? Spotlight Verdict, Brave Kingdom. All of the runners are open to further improvement. Agreed. To large degrees. Some by large degrees. Okay. Brave Kingdom is the first choice ahead. So basically going with the market pretty much. The market does react to these spotlights. Last Saturday, the spotlight riders were absolutely on fire. I'm looking for a time of Bothwell Bridge as well. I'll keep updating it and it's not coming to kills. If you get that for me, do shout out because the time on the chase course will be very interesting.
Yeah, well, as I said, I'm pretty sure it said 5:20 as they were going past.
It did 5:21.45, slow by 19.45 seconds.
Yeah.
He's got it right, hasn't he? So yes, indeed. What does that make you think, Kills? Oh, I'll tell you what. I'll get it after the race because they are.
After the race. I mean, it's hard to know on the basis of one run on the chase course, though.
All right. Well, thankfully we've got some more coming your way, and it looks like
really interesting, Dave.
Go on,
really
Ryan.
interesting. 2.69 Brave Kingdom BSP. We talked about good late money for Bothwell Bridge. 2.69 was the BSP. So a really big drifter at the off.
Thank you very much. Isn't that interesting then? Does it worry you as they take the first Fair Frontiers? Goes on. We know he stays very well indeed. Could this be another first flow in the making for Kim Bailey will find out, because Brave Kingdom is not giving him much peace. He's a little bit lit up, isn't he? Not as bad as Lottymouth. Harper's Brook out the back, and the Dan Skelton horse, who's called Viva La Via, sees them all in. Early impressions, Kills.
They're just going through the motions at the moment, mate, aren't they? I mean, if anything's in trouble now, then you're in trouble, aren't you?
If you're on Fair Frontiers, which you are now, like everyone out there, you're looking at him and thinking, how keen does all have to be to worry? This is just obviously just enthusiasm.
Well, yeah, I don't think he's keen. He's just running within himself. It's when they're absolutely, I would say Mattie was saying he's not exactly hurting the jockey there. He doesn't have to pull him back.
Because they're crawling, really, aren't they, Batch? Yeah, they're mindful of the hill.
When you meet that hill for the first time, you're just going to take a little bit of a pull. They set off at a nice pace, and Bassie's just took them back a bit. Just get them back, just so they're not doing too much.
We've spoken to you a lot since your debut on this show last year about how often you want to steal a march over hurdles, how some courses you want to sit back on. I remember you got opinions on Ascot and stuff like that. Well, is Sandown one of those where you can get ahead, or do they fall in a hole?
It's very ground dependent on that. Like on this sort of, as you say, the last 3 years, this sort of ground. The time of year you run around Sandown, you're not going to get away with it because it's normally on soft, heavy ground. So you're very rarely going to nick a march on them because you're going to do too much too early.
It will depend on the trainers as well. We see Gary Moore horses Kills, don't we? These juveniles that turn up from France.
Some of them can do it. Remember Totterdown?
Yeah, exactly. Totterdown. That's a great shout.
We always think that Sandown as the flat is a front runner's track, don't we?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's fast ground there, and I think all the jockeys know that it's a stiff finish and they hold on to something.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as easy to hold on to something over jumps because you've got to go fast enough to get over them in the first place.
There's a great segue there, Kills, because talking about holding on to it, Gavin Sheehan really wants to let go of Brave Kingdom, doesn't he? He eyeballed Fair Frontiers, and then Bassie has now gone on a bit.
It's interesting. Gav just had a little look behind him just to see where the others were because he must have thought they're going quick enough because the only time you look around is if you're worried if you're going too quick.
Yeah.
But he saw how close they were. So.
All right, on the far side then, we're starting to warm up in the feature grade 2 of the day. Ryan McCue, are they levels your Devils as favourite now?
No, 9-4 Fair Frontier. We're on 11-10 Brave Kingdom, so they prefer Brave Kingdom. They're tightly bunched out at the moment, and everything looks to be travelling within themselves. Brave Kingdom's challenging Fair Frontier a little bit wider now for the lead. He's out to 6-4 again, Brave Kingdom, so a lot of fluctuation as you'd expect in on it.
Okay, thank you very much, Ryan. A bit of a mixed bag roll call wise, but now finally
decided to let him go.
Gav Sheehan has not been able to resist the temptation, and on he goes down the far side. Is this 4 out? I'm going to say. You know me, I never quite get it. 5 out, and he's taking it on. And Fair Frontier does not like this. Amazing, isn't it, when a horse is headed? He just had to get lower in the saddle there, didn't he? I'm sure the market has reacted to that. It has. Lottymouth coming up to have something to say. Harper's Brook pull wide. The Skeleton horse is in there pitching. In fact, Fair Frontiers looks like the one who's cooked.
Someone's just lost a shoe. Shoe's gone flying off.
Well spotted. It could be mud, it could be a shoe, I don't know. All right, we're turning in and the Fav's in front then.
Frontier is struggling.
Oh, he's going low now. He's starting to go odds on. Yeah, Frontier, he's done for toe, isn't he? I mean, if you're the owner of that now, you're thinking, should we have cracked on? I don't know. They're worried about the ground. But absolutely on the bridle. 2 horses still. And it's Paul Nicholls, Dan Skelton, and I suppose Ben Pauling's horse, Harper's Brook. Ryan McCue will be open for that one. Lottymouth still there. Lots to play for. And in fact, Lottymouth goes on, Kills.
He does, yeah. It could be up for a little boil over here because he's 2 in behind, not going that badly either as well.
Yeah, there was 2 behind,
okay.
I think the Skelton horse is trading pretty short now.
Yeah, Brave Kingdom, we're going to find out what he's got under him because he does not like it up him at the moment. Fair Frontiers has gone all the way out to 1,000. And the Fav has all of a sudden gone from 1st to 4th in a blink of an eye. Lottymouth hit that one. And I'll tell you what, his rivals weren't good either. And all of a sudden, Brave Kingdom senses it. But Tom Lacey, this disappointment of Adramel, this has gone absolutely clear.
It's gone absolutely miles clear.
Lottymouth, all he's got is 101. There you go, nice and low, and he just ambled over that one. It's tiring out there, guys, isn't it? Another slow motion finish. This has gone all over. If you were with Lottymouth, kept the faith. We said how his horse is running. Not a bit. He's right off. Stan Shepherd took a big scalp, didn't he?
Yeah.
On the Forever horse at Newbury last weekend. Viva La Via back in 2nd. Brave Kingdom plodded on for 3rd. I think I can say plodded. And Harper's Brook back in 4th. Did Fair Frontier even finish? Ryan McCue, what happened there? Scenes.
Yeah, it was a good bit of placing by Tom Lacey. Running off, he had a mark of 136 after winning that handicap fairly easy last time. To throw him into a Grade 2 novice, it's something that you can probably get away with this time of year. 1.74 was the low of Brave Kingdom, so just bigger than 8 to 11. Fair Frontier obviously dropped back before turning in, so he was never involved. 3.4 was the low of Harper's Brook. And Viva La Via, who travelled really well into it, he could probably be taken out of race. 2.98 was his low. The winner has obviously had plenty more experience than the skeleton runner, so I think Viva La Via will be one to follow next time. But Lossy Mouth galloped him into the ground, and he looks a real tourist there.
Keel's a word on the strength of the race.
I think the winner could be pretty good, you know. I mean, he had those problems. They said in the Racing Post today that they always thought a lot of him, but he had all sorts of problems, and you know they've only just been able to really train him. And now he's just it doesn't matter, does it? I mean, you know, if as long as they're putting their head down and running forwards and galloping like he has now done for the last time. Remember, he won by 10 lengths the time before. I think it's okay. I don't think we're talking Cheltenham standard, to be honest.
Where does he go? Shallow, or does he go for the Albert Bartlett thing with Aljamail last
year? I think Shallow would be the obvious next. The obvious next.
It's where they tend to go after this.
I don't see why not. Yeah.
Well, it's a long time. It's a bit of a mixed bag, roll call wise, before we go to Exeter for the next race.
Only thing is, it's got pitiful prize money, isn't it? The Shallow for a Grade 1.
That's become a bit of a problem. Small, real, and it's been a red herring of a race. 2011, Fingal Bay won this. 2012, Tacking Desoy. Since then, proper mixed bag on the blind side. The last decent winner, Stargate last year, chased over Brave Man's Game, and in Rillo the time before that. We're talking about handicaps, really. Let us know what you made of the feature race. It's certainly tiring at Sandown, we can say that. How does that alterate, or alter your thoughts, I should say? Alterate? I came up with the word there, didn't I? Which I can do on this show. How does that alterate your thoughts? Let us know for the weekend ahead. Interesting stuff. We've still got Aintree to come on the show. But we must return to the West Country and Devon. Exeter comes up next. And there is a horse in this race, Ryan McCue, for the Whateleys, who always seems to come in for a lot of support. Aidan Coleman has gone down there. He thought he was going to be at Sandown. No, said Ollie Murphy. Go and ride Gunsight Ridge in the 240.
Yeah, when you look at his BSPs of his last few runs, Dave, you're right. He went off 5 to 4, 3 to 1, 11 to 4, 6 to 5, and beat at 9 to 4 the last time. He's been beaten in his last 4 runs, so I'm sure there'll be plenty of layers today at around 2.88. It looks a good race to me, though, to play each way in the race. My selection is going to be Laird Avant. Obviously, had no luck so far, so we could do with a winner for the charity. I'm going to play him in the each way market on the exchange if Keels wouldn't mind. I'm going to have £25 each way, please, Keels, on Laird Avant at around 12.0. I just think the Tizard horses are in much better form this year than when we last seen this horse. His last 2 runs, he fell at Exeter and he was tailed off at Haydock.
What was that, a pony each way?
Yeah, 25 each way, Keels, please, yeah. At around, he's 11, 12.0, 11 on the machine.
They were in good form till you chose that one.
That's the way it goes, absolutely. He's, of course, an Exeter winner, isn't he?
There you go. You're matched on that, mate.
Thanks, kids. Yeah, when you see the way Elixir the Nuts ran in the last race as well, his horses are continuing in a really good vein of form. I think 133 slightly underestimates him. I think he's a better horse than that. He hasn't really got to show it yet. And when you look at the trip, you think it might be on the sharp side, but he was a winner of a bumper, a banger, on good ground on his first start for the Tizards a couple of seasons back. So I'm hoping Laird Avant can bounce back to form. Obviously, the first couple in the market are very interesting, notably the Venetia Williams horse, Long Press, who has only had the 2 starts for now goes over fences. That's been well supported this morning. A little bit weak in the last while, but Gunsight Ridge, as you mentioned, there'll be plenty of layers at him at 2.86 given. He was beaten a short price on his last 4 runs and hit lows and running as well. People got fingers burnt at 114 and 133 in his last 4 runs. So 2.86 the favourite at the moment, Dave.
Channeling Barry Orr again, Ryan McCue. That's Barry's favourite game. When you like a favourite, he then goes, it's been beaten. It went this low and it went that low. Kills, who do you like?
Yeah, well, this is it. I'm not normally the one that falls for this sort of favourite. I'm normally the sort of one to take it on, but I think it's a good thing, to be honest. I think he's been. It's all about a work in progress and about him going over fences now. He was a shortish price last time, Aintree, but in a good race and over 2 miles, which I think is way too short for him. And Darling Du Large, the winner, has gone in and won again. So I think that I think it's a really solid piece of form. You saw how well he finished after the last. I think he's guaranteed A, to be much better over fences than he was over hurdles, and B, to appreciate this trip. So I'm going to give him one last chance. But if there's another soft finish, then he's off the book. But I'm not convinced. I just think he's a young horse. that's been waiting for fences, and it's Huddersfield certainly isn't bad despite the defeats.
Yeah.
But I certainly think he's just going to be a lot better.
The extra 3 furlongs is definitely in his favour. I spoke to Aidan about this chap a couple of times since he's been riding him, and it was the run at Newbury, if you remember, behind Gamble Road, where he was an eye catcher over 2 miles. They then went to Kempton behind Hometown Boy, who was Fav, and again he sort of didn't quite go over the 2 mile 5. They went to Market Race and thought it was an absolute good thing. Everyone backed him accordingly, and he bumped into one of John Joe's who just got first run on him. He has had a few wind issues, despite the fact you can't see a breathing operation there. He's got the tongue tie on last time. That would be my slight reservation, but we're agreeing, Keels. I thought this was the right race for him. Laird Avant, I'm going to concede, is quite interesting. I keep an eye on the King's Writ as well, who absolutely loves it here. L'Homme de Presse is the fly in the ointment. Batch, where did you see it?
Yeah, L'Homme de Presse. Venetia's won 2 of the last 5 run-ins of this race. Their horses are just starting to hit a bit of form. First run over fences. I like Longshanks, 3rd at Stratford. Ran well, just looked outpaced round Stratford. I thought 2 mile free, round Exeter with 10-7. I think this will suit this horse down to the ground.
Yeah, behind Cap or Toy. And
Yeah.
that horse loved the track that day, didn't he? And he got first run on him, and it was a little bit of a blunder midway, wasn't there, as well? So another interesting horse, all right. And you got nutted in the last one.
Nutted, yeah.
Back. Any love for Tile Tapper, who you remember chose time Metier in the, or was it in the Tola?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a...
He's shorter than I thought he was going to be.
It was a bit of a soft first run, wasn't it? I mean, he was well beaten. But he's had a break after it. And obviously going over fences, we see. I can't say he interested me. Certainly doesn't interest me at 5-1.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's a course winner, but he's a lot shorter than you might think. Kieran Gethins is on. Cut the Mustard, ridden by Bryony Frost. Interesting that Bryony goes over, isn't it, to ride in the John Durkin?
Yeah, I see that. Sunday. Yeah, she rides one for Willie, doesn't she?
One of 7 going for Willie.
Who did she ride?
She's on Franco de Port, who is a Grade 1 winner.
Yeah.
I mean, well, let's have a quick word about this. And you've heard the selections, basically. Gunsight Ridge, a lot of love for that. Laird Avant for Ryan. Who did you go for in the end? Longshanks, wasn't it?
Longshanks.
Okay, we've got a little while for the 240. I mean, if you saw the decks going, on Monday, I'm sure you all did. We had Patrick Mullins, and you were watching Racing Post Live extra. He was very, very good on that. And it was at one point he was almost teasing us and sort of saying maybe Allaho will still go to Sandown. But he a big weekend for Patrick as well, isn't it?
Oh yeah, massive.
Riding both of them. Paul, Tannen's still on the sidelines, as we mentioned at the start of the show.
And the young lads who got the Sean O'Keefe, is it?
As Ryan mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's huge for him, isn't it? I mean, Shakan Passoir, Shakan's a monster. He said before to me, they think he's the best horse in the yard. There's no doubt.
Shakan.
Yeah.
Best horse.
Enigamine's out as well, Keels, in the Hilly Way.
Yeah, I do like that one. I don't think there should be. I mean, the only thing is, I don't think there should be the price difference between him and Shishkin for the champion chase. But then he's going to have the option of the Ryanair, isn't he?
And he's turning up.
Yeah.
And he's actually
we could do with
it.
him winning, Keith. So Bloom, he might buy us a striker.
Oh yeah, he's gone to Tony Bloom, hasn't he?
Yeah,
has he always been owned?
He's always been. Yeah, he's always been. Yeah.
He's got the actual the colours.
Yeah.
Right. How many silks has Tony Bloom got?
Blue and white. He's got blue and white.
I never know the stratum colours. They're always slightly different. All right, okay. So cannot wait for that. What a weekend ahead. What about all the novices that come out as well? Let us know out there. Come on. Oh, we've got a social out there as well. The Gunsight Ridge, the nap as well for spotlights you can see. Tom Leach. Gunsight Ridge should win this. But the results don't give her any confidence. What are you suggesting? All the favourites are getting sunk.
Yeah.
Have we got a quote for the Ballymore, by the way, Ryan, for Lossiemouth? I'm assuming that must be coming on the sports book.
Nothing yet, Dave, but when we do, I'll get it for you. I'll find it. I don't have it off the top at the moment.
Bit of a curveball coming in. And they keep, correct me if I'm wrong, mate, but they're definitely backing Tile Tapper here, aren't they?
Sorry, I'm after getting it now. 25-1 Lossiemouth for the Ballymore. Wouldn't be for me, but...
Sounds about right, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, in fairness. Tile Tapper, 5.9, Dave, yeah. Good money for him. Good money for Long Press as well, Venetia Williams. Longshanks is on the drift. Gunsight Ridge on the drift a little, out to 3.1, but... out to 3.25 now, actually, out to 9-4. But Tile Tapper is the one for money into 5.8, yeah.
Thank you very much, Ryan McCue. Yeah, interesting money. This will be one to watch going forward, that's for sure. Me and Keels said he thinks he's a good thing, Gunsight Ridge. I reckon he's definitely not going to play him until the second last if he can help it. Aidan Coleman here.
No, he's trying to get a lead, I think, and
I'm not
Keep his
sure.
powder dry.
I'm not sure Exeter's that sort of course where you can just sit quietly though. You know what I mean?
I don't know, is it?
Sit quiet in third or fourth.
Yeah, you don't see it happen that often in the straight when they're holding on to loads, do you?
Not
You know
really.
what I mean?
Not
So,
really. But
yeah.
again,
They're
which
certainly
makes you
gonna
worry
have to get
slightly. But the price, he is always well backed this horse.
You think he would be because he's a 3 miler, he's a point winner.
Yeah,
So-
so for me, he was just a horse with the potential to be miles better
There's
than
quite a
these.
bit of pressure on him here, because you're right. He's 127. He probably is a 140 horse at best, isn't he? Potentially,
He could easily be.
But this is his to lose, definitely. So he's got a bit to prove here. Long press, if you're out there as well, he's the fly, isn't he? And away we go. And long press.
He's jumped round Aintree, so hopefully he won't have any problem with it.
You'd like to think so, very much so.
Yeah.
Darling Delage, the winner of that race, has scooted up, albeit in a match since, isn't she? All right, we're away then. He's sort of up there on the inside. Joe's fine over that one. The King's Writ, the lovely King's Writ, up there with Lair Devant, who Ryan likes. Tile Tapper had a bit of a look at that one in midfield. Long de Press. Absolutely pin them, don't they? Venetia's first time over fences. Cut the mustard already stinking a bit. And out the back, who have we got there as
Bryony.
well? Antunes as well. And Longshanks as well, having a bit of a think about it. He's full of himself now, pulling his way up as well. All right, what sort of pace are they going? Batch is sort of average, isn't it?
Yeah, average. You wouldn't want to be going too quick round here anyway because you know what's coming.
Yeah, well, either Bryony's being a genius on this or Cut the Mustard's not.
Long press on the outside. Looks like he just wants to edge to his left at the fence. It's not dramatic by any stretch of the imagination. But
I mean, I don't want to jinx it, which we do in here over and over again. So if you bat long press the mute button for a sec. But her first time out, chasers, they are dart-like, aren't they?
Yeah,
You were trying to. Well, I said something. You're gonna.
No, nothing.
You're gonna go into it. Have you ever scored at Venetia's? We should get into it.
She wouldn't let me walk in the yard.
Want to get past security, old
I
batch.
had a ride for her though.
There we go. Okay, all right. So here we are then. Course and distance winner, the King's Writ, lovely for Kealy Woolacott and Josh Newman. Still claiming 7, Josh. Again, strong stayer. He loves it there. It's just whether he'll need it the 10-year-old first time. But you want to give him too much rope. Lair Devant, Brendan Powell, hoping to go one better than. Oh, I tell you what, Tile Tapper had to think about that one, didn't he? Woo!
Yeah.
Skew whiff over that. Gunsight Ridge, exactly where you want him to be, I think. Right on the inside, cutting every corner. Long press on the outside as well. Ryan McCue, let's go to you then. We're about 6 fences in.
Yeah, both Gunside Ridge and Long Press have shortened in the market, Dave. Gunside Ridge into 2.6, just under 13 days. He'll have no excuses from where he is. He's in a nice posse there, sitting second on the rail. Long Press is a little bit wider out. They're nearly joints on the exchange now, 7-4 joints. So punters are taking the pick between them two, and the rest are very weak, as you'd expect with the two of them being so short. But Long Press might be a little bit too keen for his own good in the final part of the race. But he's gone favourite now. Long Press is 6-4.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, they're just dart-like jumpers, aren't they? But they're queuing up in behind. What will come home best? Are we going to see another slow motion finish here? Every chance. I think Antunes warming up on the inside. In those famous colours of Dan Skelton, Lorcan Williams. Cut the Mustard, hardly gone a yard, but is still just about in touch. If you had to be with one now, still happy with Longshanks, Batch?
Yeah, still happy. Travelling in behind. At the minute, you wouldn't be anything else but Gunsight, I don't
You
think.
can see why they go for Gunsight Ridge kills, can't you? Because he always
he's got-
travels.
He always travels. Got a bit of presence about him. He's jumped well. I mean, Long Press has jumped pretty well as well, to be fair.
Aidan Coleman.
It all depends on what they find in the straight. But they had another lovely jump there.
Yeah.
Got in short Long Press there.
Yes, he did. And he is smaller by some considerable way than the King's Writ and Gunsight Ridge as well. So he's tanking Gunsight Ridge if you're on him. I said that I made sure that Aidan Coleman would have wait. Lair Devant, it's all gone pear again for him, isn't it? Back to the drawing board, I think. Add another 0. I'll give you that one on him. And Tunes is struggling, so they must have picked up the pieces a little bit now, Batch.
Yeah, just picking up. Aidan's taking him on, and as you say, when he's jumping as well as that, you might as well get out of the way of trouble, get in front, and let him do his
Well,
thing.
definitely no excuses here. We'll find out about his wind. We'll find out how hardy he is because he's in control, I think.
Yeah, and Cut the Mustard all of a sudden with Bryony Frost.
up.
This is really coming. Look at Bryony. She's sensing this, look. She's going to try. She's on a horse that's hardly been going, and now she's going to try and sweep him, look. A horse that was quite talented on their day. All right, so the two market leaders.
I was looking at her, actually, but she hasn't actually dropped an awful lot in the ratings, you know.
Right. Well, we're about to find
I
out
think
what
she probably
still got
needed
left.
to.
Yeah, okay, pulled up last time, of course, off the window. But at the moment, the Fav's going really, really well.
Yeah,
And
so's the second Fav, though.
short in the so this is a good old match. It'll be a good
Let's
form
face
race, this, I think.
it's the
Tile
two-
Tapper's not quite out of it.
It's the two everybody expected to be there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the King's Writ, while he's backed out of it, he's run really well for me. Okay,
Nah,
this is
wins.
nice, isn't it?
Yeah, this is nice.
All right, what do you got, Aidan? Come on, tickle it up. Longcrest called a cab there. Oh, and I tell you what, Doishi's hand the old saddle, feet out from Ladbrokes Trophy to Wingenham at Exeter.
Yeah.
Now, I'll tell you what, Gunsight is falling in a hole again, isn't he?
Oh.
Ridiculous. He's coming back.
Yeah.
Oh, this
Yeah,
horse.
it's hard to tell. No,
Is he having to think about it?
Longcrest
Longcrest has got this. If he jumps, he's jumped it fine. Oh, Gunsight again. He's going to try and get him on the running. But Longcrest is going to hold too many guns. Once again, 101 there. Longcrest Venetia does it.
That is soft.
Yeah. What is in the mind, you mean, Kills?
Oh, I don't know.
Not
it's
underfoot.
Hard to tell, isn't it? But yeah, it looked a bit of a soft finish there, didn't it? Cool.
Yeah, Gunsight Ridge has given a bold sight for a long way and fallen in a hole, Ryan McCue. It was a great recovery from Charlie Deutsch. He can do no wrong at the minute.
No, yeah, Long Pressers ran out a decent winner at the end, but Gunsight Ridge done again at 1.22, so 2 to 9 was the low he was matched at. 9.8 Long Press was matched at one stage, probably after that mistake. As we mentioned when we came in running, there were 7 to 4 joints with about 5 to jump, so punters didn't want anything else, and they got it spot on. They finished 1-2, and they were a good bit clear the third. But Gunsight Ridge punters, I don't know whether they'll go back to the well the next time, because he just looks a horse that he's a weak finisher, and it's hard to know. He's a weak finisher over 2 mile and over 2.5, so it's just one of them things. He just doesn't run to the line.
If you batch your selection each way or for a place, I think he ran on for third, didn't he? Again, a little bit keen early and perhaps slightly outclassed. Maybe they're still experimenting with the trip, but only 3 have come in the TV shot there. A word about Charlie Deutsch and the Ladbrokes Trophy last Saturday. That was great to see, wasn't it? Old Deutsch, he looks way older than he is, doesn't he? He looks way older than his years, Deutsch. It's been a hard couple of years.
He had a very hard paper round when he was young, Dave. I think he's a great lad, Deutsch. He's been Venetia's since day one, and Venetia is one of those trainers. She is very loyal to her jockeys. If you're in there doing the work, you very rarely see outside people ride her horses, and she stayed loyal to Deutsche, as he had his little bump in the road, shall we call it, and he's come back from that, and he's a great rider, he's a great horseman. He presents horses really good at fences, he sits quiet, and he rides with a nice bit of leg. And I hope his success continues, Dave.
Well, this first time out last season, Keels, and sort of disappointed we didn't see him again, but these horses of hers, when they go over fences first time, I called it during the race, they just seem so neat.
Yeah, they jumped really well. I mean, early in the straight first time around, a little edging out to the left, but nothing dramatic by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, did take them very neatly. Yeah, I'm still baffled by what happens with Gunsight Ridge. Whether he actually needs a wind up, whether he needs cheek pieces,
something not right is there. Aidan Coleman, I guarantee, whoever speaks, Spurs, he'd do everything, lobotomy, the whole thing, probably.
I don't think he needs Spurs. I think they need their own problems.
Spurs have got their own problems. That's right. Long may that continue. If you speak to Aidan after this race, which you might want to give him a bit of space with us at the track, he will come out and say, "Oh, how's he lost again?" He does confound them, this horse, but as Ryan and Betfair on the exchange will tell you, these horses, when they go low and don't get it done, they're the ones that the layers like. Tile Tapper back in fourth, wasn't it? He should come on for that. A little bit of experience was needed. All right, interesting.
To me, there's an underlying problem here, Dave. You cannot. He's absolutely cantering, jumping like the proverbial, and then goes from that to emptying that quick.
He looked like he might come back on the running, didn't he? And then flatters to deceive a bit again.
I mean, this horse is supposedly a 3 miler. You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. You've saved all the way round. You're taking a pull. Yeah. Every time you've winged a fence, he's taking back.
And here's the horrible thing, Kills, for punters now. They'll be going, but maybe he's bumped into one. That's what I'm doing.
No
time to jump off the Gunsight Ridge bandwagons. What happens when we do that, Kills?
But sod's law, isn't it?
He'll win the top.
Once you jump off one, they start winning, don't they? But you've got to say at the moment there's just a little bit of pieces of jigsaw missing, isn't there?
Yeah, very much so. Right,
it's
one
happening
more
too many
to come.
Times. The same thing's happening too many times now.
Yeah, that was his race to lose, and guess what? He has done. And he's finished well clear again. So
I got a finisher there. That was my first finisher.
Hey, there we go. We're getting closer.
A non-finisher in that Sandown.
Hold on, I've just had Tizard on the phone. Ryan said, "Can you stop tipping up his horses, please?"
Ryan Laird of Von, that went terribly. Come on, 3 o'clock at Sandown. Let's get the race up. Ryan, it's another go at the dartboard, my man. Where are you aiming?
Yeah, see, the worrying thing is, lads, is that I thought this race, the next to Sandown, was the hardest of the day, and I haven't tipped a winner going into it, so I don't know where I'm going to pull a winner out here. I thought early Delimo was very interesting with Niall Hoolan taking off valuable enough £5. He was second in the race last season off the same mark. And as I said, Niall Hoolan takes £5 off today. So if Keels can do the honours again and have £40 win on him, hopefully we might get near a winner, because at the moment we're struggling. Yeah, as I said, he's off the same mark. I found it a trappy race, but the horse seems to run well enough around Sandown. He was well.
Maybe that's what attracts people to this programme, though. They can just tune in and watch other people losing money instead of doing it themselves.
Well, it kills you. Yeah, that's why we always say you have the option of lane as well. So if they just listened to us and went to the opposite all day, they'd actually making it exactly. So,
well, on that front, I'll hold that thought, because we'll just reference the poll first, of course. Who wins the Tingle Creek? We've been polling out there in YouTube and Facebook world and Twitter and all those sort of things. And Shacken, 58%. Nube Negra, 30%. Granity, only the 7 or others. Comment your pick, 3% as well. So going to go off around about what we expect him to. And what price will
I'd love
Shacken
to back
go?
Granatine at 12, so I must admit.
Did you back on the sportsbook or anywhere 3 places at the start of the week? Is your style to do that, isn't it?
No, I didn't. I should have done, but I didn't.
Did you put him up in your weekender column?
I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's
He's
bigger
price now
Yeah.
than he was on Monday. I just don't get it.
It's always been about this race for him, hasn't it?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, Paul Nicholls has come out and he said he's come on an absolute ton for the Horton Gold Cup. He's run twice at Sandown. He was second in this race last year, when barely out of the novice stage, and then he won a celebration chase.
With Politolog not going for the Tingle Creek last year's winner, we knew he was always going to need that first run. The market snanked him. It's just the tactics. But what price will Shacken go off, and will he win? I find it very hard to oppose him. And let's go back to the next at Sandown then, 3 o'clock. Now, I was just hovering over Early Delimo. And then Ryan started waxing lyrical about how he was going to get off the cold list. And he said, there is laying option as well. I nearly went to the button, Ryan. But no, you can't keep a good man down. I think he's going to atone for the avenge the defeat in this last year behind Darabin Keels, where Darabin won this off a lower mark. Darabin loves Sandown, loves to get on with it. Early Delimo was a right eye catcher, wasn't he? He fell next time out, and then he wasn't the horse that we thought he might be. Fresh, same mark. Gary Moore, Niall Houlihan taking 5 off, loads to like.
Plenty to like about him, yeah, except the price, I suppose. Like, you know what I mean? I think it's where he probably should be. I thought, from a pure handicapping point of view, I thought Boagrius was massively interesting. And you look at his performances last year. It's funny. He started last season running to a Racing Post rating of 125, and he finished it running to exactly the same as well in July. The difference being he was rated 129 for the first one, and he was rated 115 for the last one. Now, he was second on the last time we saw him to a horse called Sativa. He's won twice since, and is £17 higher now. And he's been left on that mark of 115. He is, if he's better, if he's back fresh and well, he's a better horse than that mark. He's got a £7 claim on that I don't know much about, Thomas Dogwell, but he has had, I think, 5 out of 21 rides.
Yeah, he won on his last completed ride. It was a winner, Rasami winner, River.
So yeah, he's, I think I just think from a pure handicapping point of view, he's very interesting at a double-figure price. Not sure he should be.
Ever ridden much with Tom George, Batch, in your illustrious career?
I rode him a winner, yeah.
Did you?
Round Plumpton, yeah.
Quite an interesting character, isn't he? He comes across like a little bit public schooly, doesn't he? But he's got a wicked sense of humour.
I haven't seen that side, Dave.
Haven't you? No. Oh, really? He runs a tight ship, does he?
Yeah, I do. So
Posty, who's on tomorrow, Charlie Post, your comrade, shall we say?
Comrade.
He tells a few good stories about Tom George, about how he's...
I suppose he would have a lot to do with Tom now, though, wouldn't he?
He does, and he says he can roar back in his chair with laughter and things like that. And I must say, when I interviewed him for a feature show we did,
I think if you ask Tom George, he probably don't even remember me riding the winner.
He's like, that Batchelor. Absolutely. All right, so it's Early Delimo for me.
Give him a ride, did I?
He must have been short that day. What? Yes, it was a bank holiday, Tom.
Well, the market seems to think that Venetia's going to do it again, isn't she? Ned Fox, don't know too much about him, claiming 10.
He's a good rider. He would have rode a winner a couple of weeks back. It was travelling well. He just made a bit of a mistake and unseated, but claims the 10 off just brings it under 11 stone.
Yeah. If you're attached to a yard, basically, you can claim the 10, don't you?
It won at Fosslas. The second horse has come out and won since, Sabbatical at Fakenham.
Evan Williams' horse.
Evan Williams, yeah. So, frank the form there. I do like horse number 5, Out in the Tear.
Yes.
We'll come on for that run.
I hovered over him. Yeah. Charlie Todd on.
Yeah.
Posty's, how do I say it?
Protege.
Protege.
Do you like that?
I do. You pulled it out of the air there.
And since he's been going chasing, he's not been out the 4, so...
Yeah, he definitely is going to come on for that run last time.
Definitely.
For me, early Delimo out on the 10, that's how I'm playing it.
Worcester, wasn't it? He just faded out, just looked a little bit tired and looked like he would come on.
Plenty seem fancied in there, don't they? One True King as well.
One True King was a horse I latched onto a couple of times last season. He never put it in. Did I back him in the Lanzarote? Could he have run in that?
I got a feeling you did, Kills. Yes, you did.
I think I did, yeah. And just watching his videos, and I thought, well, he could make a chase. I just thought he backed off a few.
This is the Leicester winner, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I just think he backed off a few at Foss last time. I just wondered, he was getting 7 fences down the straight. If he does that a couple of times, then you're going to be out of your rhythm. And watch it. But again, I think he actually, he put his head down and really tried.
Yeah.
And he's quite likable. He hasn't got a bad mark, but it just worried me about here. But he seems to be quite strong, and they seem to really fancy him. And it's like when the money's down on a twister, they don't miss out.
Yeah, they don't.
Much, do they,
I lose count the amount of times I look at a race card and as a twister's horse carrying over 12 stone. He just runs them, doesn't he?
I know he's claiming 3 off it, but to me, £3 doesn't really
make
a lot of difference.
So this is 2 mile. Sandown, Tingle Creek taster, if you like. After this, it's all about stamina. All about stamina. The London National tomorrow, isn't it?
Yes.
A race you have
won in 2002, Dave.
Oh God,
we had to look back.
Go on.
All right. Couldn't get it. Trainer, Sarah Williams, partner of Victor Dartnell. Ambleside.
Oh, yeah, that old Ambleside.
I've got that in a million years.
Well, the funny thing was, we were watching it on the Racing Post website.
Going on that long.
He said it was Ambleside. Do you remember that? And I looked down, I looked at Ambleside, and I thought, Mick Easterby to be 7 furlong winner. And then I saw one in the 90s. I went, well, it can't be that batch. This was born in the 90s. He went, that's him. It was 2002, like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
But yes, your sort of race, that, though, isn't it? You keep going when others sort of don't.
Yeah,
Can I touch on you about the John Bond race as well? This race that's got everyone going as they get ready to go off at Sandown in 3 o'clock. The John Bond race where they look, okay, we got proper horse. They stood still on the tapes, the riders there for about, what was it, at least 10 seconds, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, probably a bit longer, yeah. But
what would you have done?
Listen, if we was going to have a horse running it, but it didn't qualify as a national one only. On my horse, but again, it's all on individuals. If the horse I wanted to ride in it, I would have gone, see you later, lads.
You'd have been 2 hurdles clear by the time they picked
because I've schooled him in front. I know he jumps. I would have said, see you later.
Well, I went keyboard warrior. I did, didn't I, on Twitter? They should all be bloody fighting.
The 5th Guinness had gone down, and he went on Twitter again.
Fair play. Aidan Coleman comes on and why, what rules have we broken and all that. And there ain't a rule, is there?
There's not a rule. And if you saw Henderson's interview afterwards, he said, Aidan said to him, because Aidan, true professional that he is, he said, listen, Governor, there's no pace in here, I want to go on.
Yeah.
Henderson said, please do not go on.
Yeah, because he had been keen, and buzzy and sweaty.
So,
I understand.
I can see where you're coming from,
some sort of rule. So, well, hang on, you can't just stand there for ages. You've got to be, we've got to have some sort of time limit. We just have a warning bell or something.
If you're a newcomer to the game, it doesn't
look
look
in trouble if you don't get going.
It doesn't look
We
good.
understand why they're doing it, but you would have cracked on, wouldn't you? Gone,
that's it. But then I'm riding a horse that I know, and I thinking there was an opportunity there for me, and all the other lads in that race, if they would have rode that horse, that they would have said, right, there's an opportunity here, but they felt that wasn't their opportunity. It wasn't there.
Yeah. But it doesn't look good. You can see why Kills went on Twitter, of course.
It was 50-50. Some people, saying totally agree. Other people
it was a poll and it went 50-50.
You're an idiot. What are you on about?
Yeah, right.
What's the big deal? So neither here nor there.
Fair enough.
But if there's no rule, you can't really demand that everyone gets fined for it.
Is that what you did?
Keyboard warrior gets back in his box.
Fine them all. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'll give you another scenario, right? So there's no rule for it, right? So Kilts, we're on the tee, par 3 the other morning. Only 160 yards. Fellow I'm playing with brings out a driver. That should not be allowed. That should not be allowed.
You're suggesting he should have been fined for that?
A driver.
One rule for them, one rule for the others.
Listen,
2 miles at Sandown, we're about to go over the fences.
Friends, the people I play are so old they wouldn't have reached with a driver.
I hope you're playing
him for a few quid, Matty.
I missed that.
I hope you played him for a few quid if he was hitting the driver off a par 3.
He's a licensed individual. Ryan, we've got to be careful of that. Right, okay, Derbin, he is off and running. 2 miles over fences at Sandown. You rode in the Tingle Creek, didn't you?
Yeah, I was out the back, Dave. Sprinter Sacra was up near the front.
You rode against the mighty Sprinter Sacra.
Yeah.
We'll get that after the race. It's a classic story, this, but they are eyeballing.
Did his arse look like?
Darabin, Boagris, One True King's up there as well. Who's that in the middle as well in between them? I'm looking for Eddie DeLimo. He's over 5. Fairway Freddie, who's got some decent form around
Each-way
here.
chance for him, James Davis.
Page
nice to see
full
him
up,
back.
riding for David Weston, not David Maxwell today. She's on Admiral's Sunset. He's having a keen tug. Looking out for Desk Delille. Giving up the outside to no one, but that wasn't a problem from our winner at Exeter last time. DeLong, whatever it was.
Yeah.
DeLong Press, yeah, the name went there. Demopolis out the back, first time wind operation. Sean Houlihan, he's tugging his arms out. Wouldn't be great. Early DeLimo, full of himself. Niall Houlihan suggests that is the plan, though, to be out there, along with out on the tear, Charlie Todd, who I think is a player as well. Okay, Ryan McCue.
Well, can't be going too quick because they are, all close up, aren't they?
30 miles an hour. It's the sort of average speed we see on the table, on the table, isn't it? And but there's some sight, isn't it, Ryan McCue? Who does the market like?
Yeah, well, they sent One True King off favourite, BSP just under 4-1, and he's still favoured and running at about 5-2, having jumped the first fence down the back. There's a few quid laid on for Keel's selection. Boagrius went off 14.0 BSP. Early DeLimo is travelling and jumping well. He's now into favourite and running now at 11-4, but it's an open race, obviously.
Come on, Ryan, we can get this one over the line, can't we? Here we come up. This isn't quite the railway fences.
No, not yet. It's funny. It's funny, that fence previous, you turn around, you come down here and you see the speed go up, and all of a sudden it comes down, because as a jockey, it's a tricky fence, and you're just taking a pull, trying to see that stride. And
Were you using your binoculars at that point to see Sprinter Sacra?
Yeah. Sprinter Sacra was at the pond fence.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we'll get to that. All right, Derbin, isn't it lovely? Won this race last year, and he has won at Fontwell. He flopped again last time, but he could well bounce back if he gets in the rhythm. Now, are we at the railway fences?
No.
We've got
honestly, when do they come up, these railway fences? We've got one more to go. His camera angles needs to be worked on at Sandown. I'll put it on that.
You've got to remember where you are.
Look at Early DeLimo. He's absolutely tanking. Ryan McCue, let's go to you. He must be getting shorter.
Yeah, Darabin's into 6-1, but Early DeLimo, bad mistake there. He was into 11-4, back out to 4-1. So the jumping is knocking the stuffing out of him. He can't really get into a proper rhythm. Darabin still leads them. He's 15-2 and running with a couple of 3 or 4 left to jump.
Yeah, okay, the last of the railway fence. I can say that. He has been sticky patch, hasn't he, this grey?
Yeah,
he'll win that one.
What's the next fence, Dave?
It's going to be the world famous pond fence. That was an odds-on shot that I got that. I'll tell you what, Destilil is not looking that happy under Ned Fox, is he?
I think One the True King is going fairly well.
He is. He just backs off his fences a bit. You're right about that.
Just a little bit slow, but I mean, it hasn't, it certainly hasn't put him out of the game.
Boagrius having a blow now as Derbin goes on. This is. I'll tell you what, homework.
Derbin's enjoying this.
Look at Demopolis as well, a horse that he's got some decent form. Is he a flat tracker? That's what I would wager with him, maybe. So it's the Gary Moore pair coming up to the pond fence. And he called it the fond fence. Admiral Sunset on the inside. We're holding our breath here because Early DeLimo, he's all right over it. Out on the tear's got a bit to do, but okay, we lost Demopolis there. Is this going to be the old boy again? Look at old Jamie Moore. He's absolutely loving this, isn't he? Out on the tear, perhaps the finisher. Des DeLille, Early DeLimo. Keel's called it 2 out.
I think the winner's in front.
Derbin, it is. They love Sandown.
Loves it.
The 9-year-old. This would be a career best, I'd wager. One True King's coming back at him. Look at out on the tail. Look at Des DeLille. Ned Fox senses it. Out, Early DeLimo out on his feet. Not today for him. Derbin out to his right. Another slow motion race. Is it Early DeLimo? Because the front two are absolutely walking. You'd have to think One True King's going to get him. Yeah, he's got 101. There it is. One for the Twisters. Jordan Naylor. We weren't sure about him today, but he's all clicked into play. Derbin, what a ride that was in second. And Early DeLimo, one place worse off this year.
You just don't know what Derbin to turn up, but he's turned up today and he's loved that.
Yeah, course and distance form.
Yeah, One True King, to carry that weight, he's done it well, Keats.
Yeah. All right, Ryan, let's go to you. When did they know?
Yeah, 1.4 Darabin turned into the straight. One True King was matched at high of 9.8, and that was before about 4 out. Obviously, after the last, it looked like One True King was going to catch Darabin. He was up front the whole way. He did in the end. Early DeLimo, another loser for us. He went just over even money. 2.04 was the lowest he was matched at. And just one I take out of the race is Des DeLille. As you mentioned, ridden by an inexperienced enough rider and was ridden wide the whole way. He stayed on to finish 4th in the end. Descalil, and he'd be one I'd be interested in next time. But One True King, he's a stout stayer over 2 miles, as he showed at Cheltenham last season. So he ran out a comfortable enough winner in the end.
All right, there we go. We're hitting the crossbar here, Ryan, and all of a sudden I'm shooting from the same pitch as you. We've got 2 more races to come your way still this afternoon on RP Live. Isn't it nice to be here on a Friday? Get involved still. You can do that on YouTube. The chats are flying out there. Great community we've got. Lovely to have you. If you're new to the show, Mattie Batch sits alongside me, Paul Kealy, the Sizzler himself, and Ryan McCue from Betfair. We're having fun. We're back tomorrow, of course, for the Tingle Creek. But is it the race of the weekend? Sunday might have something to say about that. We see All Mankind back as well, Kills, don't we? In the Huntingdon race, the Peterborough.
Yeah, the Peterborough. Yeah, he's a funny horse, All Mankind. Also, I've always got wrong. I'm beginning to really start to admire him now. I just didn't think he'd be ever anywhere near as good as he is, and he just keeps coming.
That form couldn't have worked out better at Aintree as well in the old Rowan.
Yeah, exactly. How can you knock that piece of form? You simply can't, can you? So.
Yeah. All right, we are really starting to sizzle then. This is the good part, isn't it, of the jump season. Rain's coming. We've said a lot about small fields. You've seen the Beecher field tomorrow. Yes, we knew the Tingle Creek was going to be small, but the John Durkin, if they all turn up, Allaho against Envoy Allen, who wins? Who leads? Would be the question.
It's a fascinating race because, Envoy Allen, does he really deserve to be even money?
Is that what he is?
Is it money? Yeah. I mean, if you look at,
you are kidding me.
If you look at the.
Well, he was during the week, Hills. We didn't feel that Allaho was going to run, and then obviously declared today. So we're now up to 7-4. So he's 7-4.
Right. Okay.
What price is Allaho, Ryan?
130 with us on the sportsbook at the moment, Dave.
They're running a handicap, and Allaho would be giving him £11.
Do you get the feeling?
It just hasn't run. Because Envoy hasn't run out of novice company either. But he actually hasn't beaten a good horse over fences.
We're still going there, aren't we?
Some good horses over hurdles. It's a case of people anointing a horse a superstar long before it's actually become one.
Sainted.
He might be.
Yeah.
But crikey, he's short enough, isn't he, for what he's actually done over fences.
Yeah. My worry, I guess, with Allaho.
90.
We said, didn't we, when we did the big jump off, Kills, when we were doing that, you look at Allaho's, he's never won first time out, has he?
No.
I wondered whether this season would be different because they're just aiming him solely at the 2 mile 4. The problem is in Ireland, there aren't a lot of Grade 1 2 mile 4 races. There aren't a lot of them anywhere. But certainly not in Ireland. You've got to go up and down Dale, basically, distance-wise. And, of course, he came back at Thurles, didn't he, this year? And that was when he prepped for Cheltenham. So do they know that he might just be needing this? And they won't be disappointed. I basically wrote, I think, in the intermediate write-up, and verdict, don't be disappointed if Allaho doesn't do it first
Well,
time
this
out.
is
So
it.
you should listen to these words.
Well, there are trainers who don't actually worry about horses getting beaten. The race serves a purpose.
Yeah. What's this? It's a long season. Sometimes you need a stepping stone to start, and is it good to have them primed and ready in December?
Yeah,
when they're bigger.
Have you had a bet for Cheltenham yet, Kills?
Yeah, but it's on the sidelines, unfortunately. I backed that James de Burley for both the Arc and
James de Burley,
and he.
Not this year, so all right. Yeah. But have you seen anything yet that's nearly tempted you?
I haven't seen. I can't say
Isn't that
I've seen anything that really excited me. No.
Because you get these shows, don't you? And lots of people. Everything's about Cheltenham, isn't it? Anti-post. We do segments and they fly numbers-wise. Everyone wants to hear it, but yet a lot of people.
Well, I always think the problem is the bookmakers in general. You see a good performance, and prices are always defensive. So you get Jean Bon 3-1 for the Supreme Novices after winning the maiden hurdle at Newbury. Might be a superstar, but you know what I mean. Horses like Votor and Duval didn't go off much shorter than that when they won it.
And Mullins hasn't run anything yet.
Well, it's
going to change.
He hasn't run anything. So what are we doing? How can you say
it's the recency bias, isn't it, Kealy?
Yeah, of course
as well?
it is. Of course it is. But you're lot that are doing it, aren't you?
That's on you, Ryan.
No, but I mean, when you look at it, so we're going to lay John Bon in any price at the moment because he's relevant at the moment. Like Kilcrut and Sir Gerard haven't ran over hurdles yet. Like if Kilcrut wins the weekend, which you imagine he will, like he's going to be he's going to be popular in that market. So it's more just a recency bias where people just want to jump on whatever wins that day, and that's what happens every year.
Horses can just literally confirm they're still alive, and they'll shorten in the.
The other interesting thing is about the Irish season. It seems to be, and it was this before we had this, winter drought as we're calling it this year. That Elliott's allowed to get on with it in October, and then he sort of lets Mullins do it in the Christmas month, doesn't he? It's remarkable how they have different campaigns, and yet they still end up dominating the Cheltenham Festival. Talking about the Cheltenham Festival, Lossiemouth in our Winter Hill Ballymore trial. Could go Challow or could go Tolworth. That's not really helping us much, is it? So 2 Mile back at Sandown in January, or 2 Mile 5, which you might think might be the favourite. I think he surprised him a bit there. He's not one for fences as well, by the way. That's what Stan Shepherd
I suppose you'd get away if the rain does come.
If you get your normal Sandown ground.
Normal Sandown Tolworth grounds, it's not a bad shout.
Yeah, interesting.
Because 2 Mile, you do need to stay, and he clearly does. So I can see why there's a...
But you're going to find quotes for everything. Now, that means that you could even have a quote for Supreme there.
Yeah.
You know, so, all right, fair enough.
Going back to horses, I did like the way Brave Man's Game jumped.
Now.
I thought that was...
Now then. We have got a 3:15 coming up at Exeter, a really interesting race. But let's have a word on that, because we've not heard from you on live yet about Brave Man's Game or Bob Ollinger jumping techniques.
Well, I mean, from what we've seen so far, Brave Man's Game's jumping technique is brilliant, and Bob Ollinger needs a little bit of working on. But I mean, it's not, it wasn't a disaster. I thoroughly disagree with Rodders when he went mad. I couldn't have Bob Ollinger in my mind, etc., against Brave Man's Game. I think they're two very good horses, and we'll have to wait and see. But Brave Man's Game is obviously a superb jumper.
But talking about horses that have been anointed, and I know he won a Ballymore standing on his head and made the hill look like it was downhill. But he hadn't jumped a fence yet, and everyone's calling him the new Sprinter Sacra already. Bob Ollinger.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is what happens. This is what happens.
Don't all take
this is what happens every single year when you get an impressive winner at Cheltenham. You get a horse that builds up. There's always some people who say this is the next superstar, best since Sprinter Sacra, best since Arkle, blah. No horse is ever a superstar until it's won at the top level outside a novice company. It's as simple as that.
But
you're far too easily pleased.
Yeah, well, there we are. But you were extremely pleased, weren't you, with what you saw with Brave Man's Game? We all were jumping-wise.
Oh, yes. I don't know how you can't be.
As I said to you earlier, Dave, it was like you get natural horses, and then you get horses that need a little bit more work, like your Bob Ollingers, just to go back to the drawing board, a bit more practice. Where Brave Man Game is, like I said to you earlier, it's like watching... It was like watching George Best.
Probably never needs to school again, does he?
Like George Best on a football pitch.
That's
interesting, isn't it?
It becomes so easy for him.
Yeah, I think Third Time Lucky's the same, by the way.
Yeah.
His jumping is just sensational.
Who we see tomorrow in the Henry VIII.
Yeah.
All right. So, Bob Ollinger, you actually an interesting line you said to me, which I want to pick up on when we were in the office before we came in the pre-show. You said he's just learning. He needs more practice. He'll get there.
Yeah, he's learning on the job. He didn't jump that bad. He got from A to B and.
Yeah, he twisted in the air a couple of times in the late ones, but I mean, it's no big deal first time out.
My point being,
and you don't have to be a brilliant jumper to be a brilliant horse.
Correct.
But
End of the day.
Lots of people Rodders got a lot of stick, didn't he, for that? But lots of people said, well, Sprinter Sacra didn't beat Alpha off in a, Supreme, turned out to be the horse of a lifetime over fences. That'll rage on. Let us know what you think about that. Something tells me it'll be a clip. Quickly then, at Exeter, Ryan McCue, what wins the slog?
Ooh.
Yeah, you've thrown me an easy one there. I haven't tipped no winners today, Dave. I'm going to go with, in the 5-place market, Keels, can you have 25 quid on Gwen City Burbas? I think he's around 9-2. 4-1 there in the 5-place market. I just think he'd be ridden quietly enough by Tom Scudamore. He's down the field. He's where is he? Number 3.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to get hold of them. I'm just trying to scroll right down, and it's not.
Talk about curveballs. That was a curveball for Keels, I think. Oh, no entries found there, Keels.
You only like to tip horses in the first 4 in the betting because I can't move this.
That hasn't been working, Keels. Have you not noticed?
This is a horse, Ryan, Gwen Silly Barbas, that is chucked in on his chase form, isn't it?
Yeah. He's been consistent in his first 3 runs for David Pipes in Switching Yard. He's remained with the same owner. He's generally a decent jumper. He hasn't been further than 3.25 miles, but he was second over 3.25 miles, and he won over 3 mile one at Roscommon. So I think he'll stay. It's obviously a really competitive race. We're paying 5 places on the Betfair Sportsbook. I think you'll need every one of them. Normally, Soldier heads to betting on the exchange at the moment at 6-1. So that's a win-only market. It's very hard.
All right, thank you then. Ryan McCue going for a bit of a flyer here. And you know what it's like, Ryan. Just a moment, you tear it up and you go to walk out. Every selection will go and win that moment, isn't it? So your radar's not too far off. It will turn. You can't keep a good man down. I thought the Storm Force...
Right, we are on.
Oh, we're on. Happy days.
I don't understand this ludicrous laptop they give me. I don't know what browser it's on, but I can't work it.
Okay, all right, we're back. We're back in the room. I thought Stormforce might be the one here. Batch, what did you think? Stormforce Ben, I just think he'll keep going.
Yeah, well, listen, most of these, they're going to have to need to keep going over this trip. Montana, consistent horse, good running in the Durham National at Sedgefield. This track is suiting better. Dancing Shadow, third last year, first back at Sandown. What did it beat? Wandering Star of Bailey's for solid old form.
He loves it here.
Yeah. Dark Flame, he's a 12-year-old now, but each way chance, he's back. He's got a bit of spark back in his belly, I think.
Keels, no worries with small field here. Who's going to take
exactly.
it out?
No, the most competitive race. I just thought a massive price, the Late Legend, was quite interesting.
Is this in the Sizzlers today?
He won. It is, yeah. So we're 3 hour losers at the moment, though. So let's hope that we.
It's been a tricky day so far, better. As Tom Leach said to us earlier.
He improved quite dramatically when he went over fences last year, and he just returned and had 2 hurdle runs. And even though they weren't great, they were actually the best of his life by a long way over hurdles. So.
Yeah.
And he dropped very quickly back to his last winning mark. So I thought he had half a chance in what is obviously a really hard race. I think I've backed Dancing Shadow at Exeter so many times.
Yes, and he's doing what he does best.
And he always tends to hit the frame in these sort of races, doesn't he? And he's going to run well. But I thought, the Late Legend, I backed him at 33s yesterday. I just thought he was worth a little go.
Yeah, all right. So Dancing Shadow, who loves Exeter. He's miles ahead, along with On Call, the hat-trick seeking On Call.
I don't realise it's 3 mile 6, Dave.
Well, what do you reckon? Do you reckon they are going quicker than we have seen the 2 mile races so far?
Yeah, this is, are they really going that quick? Do we believe the old speedometer?
Well, listen,
sometimes?
That's something that does come up from time to
time.
I
saw one at Haydock when I was at the racing once, and it said 38 mile an hour and a 3 mile handicap hurdle on every ground. I thought, no, I don't think that's right. You know what I mean? So
I'm just going on that there's a big gap back to the third one. It's round Exeter and it's 3 mile 6.
Well, listen, it does look quite accurate to me in this because he has definitely dropped anchor.
They've dropped anchor now.
This horse, Dancing Shadow, has done this before and nearly stayed there, hasn't he? So.
How many times are we going to see these jockeys that just open up the lead, stay there in these staying handicaps? So this will be an interesting test because the most of the pack, the peloton, if you like, have ignored. Young Offender, well fancied, didn't he, for Kieran Gethings and Stuart Edmonds. He's in third. He's best placed and he winged that one to pick up the pieces. Ryan McCue, this is a weird race visually. What does the market say?
Yeah, Young Offender, you mentioned there, Dave, he's in a good spot in third. He's favoured in the run at around 4-1. Obviously, it's a long way to go. Dancing Shadow, BSP at 14, and it's now 9-1 in running. So it'll tell you that punters feel that he might end up staying there. On Call, who's chasing him down at the moment, is out to 25-1. So they're not so in love with him. But they're after coming back to the field, the two of them. And Young Pretender sits in the best spot at the moment. But there's a long way to go.
There is a long way to go, thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm happy with the position of mine in 4th place there, the Late Legend. But I mean, if I'm not happy now, he's got 2.5 miles to go.
He had such a good season last year, Late Legend.
He did. He won 5 times. Yeah. Like I said, he's returned with 2 runs over hurdles. Probably got himself straight for this, and he's on the same mark as off what he won last year. So. Chances at a price.
Yeah, I'm looking for Stormforce. Benny's out the back at the minute. Montana right out the back. Batch, who's coaching? I tell you one also. I keep waiting to come back to form. It's like as soon as I see a bit more from his Django in the Martin Broughton colours. He's in 5th there for John Joe. They're persevering with him as a marathon horse. Normandy Soldier, who's probably the money horse in the race. He's in midfield as well. Who catches your eye, Batch?
Listen, they're all travelling well enough. You'd want to be because there's a long way to go. Dark Flames. Travelling all right, just creeping along. My selection's travelling well in 17th there place. Oh no, he's niggling.
I'll tell you what.
He's just moved up to 16th.
What do you think? Is this? Are you suggesting it's game over then already?
No,
with the circuit to go.
No, not at all. It's
because I've done that on this show and it bites you. Sporting John is the classic.
Not round here, Dave. This race can change dramatically. There's a long way to go, and
if you were playing in running now, Keels, Aaron Ladd catches my eye. He's coming back up.
Yeah, he's going all right. I mean, I've thrown money at Django a few times, and I don't think he's going bad for him at this stage of the competition. But I'm happy enough with how mine's going at the moment.
I bet you're getting happier as well, Ryan McCue, aren't you? Because Gwensley Burbass, he's really tanking.
Yeah, he's gone okay. Yeah, we are on the 5th place market, so just my luck now if he actually goes and wins, and we've not a penny on that.
Your luck, he's going to finish 6th, right?
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. It'd be closer than a lot of them got today, mate.
When you're getting trolled by Matty Batch, you know something's going wrong, don't you? You can give it back to him, Ryan.
Yeah, Young Offender is into 3-1 now. Papa Poutine as well is well found in the market and running at around 11-2. But Young Offender is jumping and travelling well. Has been in a great position throughout. and punters like him in the run.
Yeah, they've all backed Normandy Soldier as well. A lot of the course goes there, and he is going backwards. He's not fancying it to call today. Wears headgear for a reason. We're seeing why. So, up front, to come back to him a little bit, as we might have expected. And Dancing Shadow is doing it easily in at the moment.
To jump, something like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
4, yeah.
Papa Poutine in there as well. Isn't it lovely?
The late legend Keels into 8-1 Keels in running. You are the late legend on the rail.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything wrong at the moment. It's obviously, does he
It's
stay?
just lovely to see a big field of runners with the
isn't it?
mud
Yeah, it's
flying.
great, isn't it?
Whoever thought we'd say that? But it's absolutely wonderful. And they are still some interesting arrows to play. One's gone, unfortunately, Dark Flame. Gone badly wrong there for Tabitha Words in Richard Rowe. Horrible to see. One's gone there. Really unfortunate for him, the 12-year-old. He's had a great career, and unfortunately, he looks to have gone badly wrong there. Our thoughts of connections. As Dancing Shadow just getting taken on now at the top. On call on the hat trick. Could he possibly?
Django, bad mistake.
Oh, nearly
Django.
out the side door there, wasn't he, John Joe O'Neill Jr.? He's managed to keep the partnership intact, but a horse that needs plenty to go his way. What about this Papa Poutine? He keeps catching the eye a little bit as well. On the inside, Keels must be coming onto your radar now.
Yeah, definitely going well. I mean, it's one of those you don't want to be too confident about it, but they're getting away from some. So you'd like to think that this is the first half dozen or so. They are going to be the ones that fight it out, but you never know. You remember Minella Sensation?
Yes, there's a name.
Traded 1,000 in running years ago when it won the Devon National. I mean, it wouldn't have even been in the TV shot now.
Yeah,
So
don't give up, basically, if you're on Montana.
Don't give up.
Who else
I
is
haven't
out
give
the
up
back?
yet.
Snuffbox out the back as well, a rare Venetia Williams. Horse who's not enjoying it. Papa Poutine, keep catching my eye. 2 horses. Gwen Silly Burbass, yet to play his arm. You watch Tom Scudamore, knows he's got a long way to go. And Tom O'Brien as well on my pick. Storm Force Ben. All right, here we go. We're getting serious now. They're rowing away. Ryan McCue, 4 to jump.
Yeah, my amateur's rowing away, but he's actually responded.
Yeah,
I thought he was
Dancing
going to drop out of the
Shadow.
telly.
Dancing Shadow.
Dancing Shadow.
Look at Gwen Silly Burbass. He's cruising. Oh, I tell you what, everyone's feeling the pressure for Ryan McCue here. He's absolutely cruising. Not too far. I tell you what, he's got some brass on him, this lad, isn't he? Absolutely
well
cruising.
done. Well done, Roy. Well done. Well done, Roy. It's only 3:15. You've gave us one.
Unbelievable scenes. At the moment, you can probably tell we're getting a bit excited for Ryan McCue. Storm Force 10, not staying. Late Legend still there. It's between Kills and the Batch. Late Legend goes on. Gwen Silly Burbass not go for it. Dancing Shadow still there. Come on, Kills. He could do with a win of the Sizzler. Look at Gwen Silly Burbass. He's absolutely cruising. We've managed to get a 1-2 in the Oh no! Gwen Silly Burbass. Ryan McCue must be doing handsprings. He's finally lit up. Oh, he was feeling the pressure there. He asked him for it. What's he got? This will be a shout. 1, 2, 3, up you go! Gwen Silly Burbass. I said it, you can't keep a good man down. Trickiest race of the day. 20 to 1 shot.
Pulls it out of the bag.
Let's hope someone backs it for a winner. He's absolutely hosed up. What a shout. Keels, first place loser in second.
Devastated. 33 to 1. He's had a
I'm
pony
third.
at 3 to replace.
Dancing Shadow
was
is fourth.
and finished 50 yards away.
I might just end the call now, lads. Will I after only backing that for a place?
It can only change now. It can only change. A great shout, Ryan McCue. You saw it.
Good shout.
It was tanking all the way round.
I thought Paul Carberry renewed his licence there with Scudamore coming with the arse cock there too.
That was beautiful, wasn't it? That was beautiful. Absolutely reminiscent of some of those great ones. 25 to 1 shot.
Beautiful. I am
Send
gutted.
in some love then for Ryan McCue if you stuck with him. It's like anything, isn't it? If you toss heads 8 times in a row, you know sooner or later it's going to be tails, isn't it? And along came the tails for Ryan McCue. One of the brightest traders in the Betfair office, and we can see why. If you wanted to pick up the pieces, if you're on the 5 and the 6th, the 5th home was You Alright Harry for the new combination of John Best and Karen Jewell, who are starting to have some decent upturn in form. And I think, looking back, who was there?
Mine, was it?
Just came off, didn't it?
Dance.
Young Offender.
Young Offender.
So if you're on those minor places there, we bid farewell to Exeter, who've propped up this Friday show in great style. One of the great pleasures of the winter game, isn't it, watching them over the fences there. thoroughly enjoyed it. But we've got one more to come from Sandown. We're around about 9 or 10 minutes away. Get your thoughts in. We've been talking about Brave Man's Game. We've been talking about Bob Ollinger. We've been talking about Envoy Allen. We've been talking about Allaho. Who have we missed out? Should we be talking about the Tingle Creek a bit more? Let us know. What else is running on a Saturday? Who is the beacher, Kills? Have you sizzled it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested. I really like Snow Leopardess at the front of the market, because I think she just jumps really well.
Same.
She's it's a good story around her as well. She's already a mum, and she know, and she was totally in control at Bangor last time. But I really do like 2A per me as well for Noel Mead.
He was back. Was that your followers backing him in at the start of the week? Because I did see it.
Well, it might have been. Yeah, I put him up. I wasn't sure because he was entered in an early closer at Navan over hurdles, and he stayed in it on Monday. So it was whether do you back him now or not. But yeah, he's coming over. He was 5th in the Troy Town. That's a race he won in 2018. He jumped the fences really well last year in the National for a circuit and a half. But he went into the race in dreadful form. He'd lost his form, as he sometimes does in the second half of the season. Almost all his best runs on Racing Post figures are first half of the season, before the turn of the year. And like I said, 5th in the Troy Town as a warm-up. And I think he will go quite well.
Look, a couple of years ago, people talking about a Gold Cup outsider, weren't they, and stuff?
I mean, he was 2nd in the Down Royal Champion Chase. Sorry, 3rd in the Down Royal Champion Chase last year. No, it wasn't a brilliant running, but he was rated 157 there. He's only 8. He's 150 now.
And despite the fact he's off a mark of 1, he's only 8. Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? The fact he's off 150, he's still getting all that weight because Chris's Dream gives it a classy look, doesn't it? Have you had a look at the beach?
Mac Totty, I like.
So trying to do the unique double of the first ever time.
Sefton,
yeah. He has got, so for the Bowens, I like Snow Leopardess as well.
Good record over the fences.
9 of the last 10 winners of the Beacher have been over the fences before. Obviously, Verlon Rouge would be 2 of them. He's back, isn't he, for more? We've just seen Gwensley Bobas. Ryan, you're back tomorrow. Don't tease it. But where's the Beacher money going? It's 240 at Aintree.
Yeah, Snow Leopardess has been popular during the week, Dave. It's not a race I've had a good look at, to be honest. So I'll wait till tomorrow to have a good scan through it. But Snow Leopardess that Keels mentioned there has been popular during the week for Aidan Coleman.
Great stuff. We've got Scottish National winning there. Mighty Thunder trying to do one for Arthur Root, isn't he? And of course, who else have we got in there? Kimberlite Candy used to be Keel's horse. That Chris's Dreamers I've mentioned. Snow Falcon. Hogan's Height spoke to James
LeBroil runs.
LeBroil runs. Yeah, the proverbial red herring. Hill 16. Few judges. Lord Menil. They're all there. What a treat that is. 240 will be here. This is the best place to get the preview to find out where your money went as well. Raucous race reactions. Let's hope you've been enjoying it this afternoon. What a panel I've had with me. It's gone here, there and everywhere, but we've got one more to go. Shall we try and get a double for Ryan McCue? End on a high in the 3:35 at Sandown, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can back it up because it was going dreadfully before that last race. I think I'm going to stick with the favourite here, Pylon. I think he's the most interesting runner in the race. He bounced back the last day and got a bit of a confidence booster over 3 miles at Aintree in a similar race. It was a Thames qualifier that day. He was only just behind Remaster on that occasion. He obviously was running a really big race in the Ladbrokes Trophy last weekend before coming down 3 or 4 out. He dropped a pound for that run, the handicapper did, which I thought was a bit fair, probably more than fair, given that he's only beaten a couple of lengths. His mark has been in a little bit of free fall, so I'm going to back Pylon Keel's piece around 3.7. I'm going to have 50 quid on him in the last at Sandown. There wasn't too many. I think there's a lot of them regressing as opposed to progressing in the race. Thanks, Keel. So I just thought he was the most interesting. He's coming back to a bit of form. He lost his way over fences. Bit of a confidence booster last time. Lovely weight at 10.8, and he stays all day, which is what we need today, given the conditions at Sandown.
Thank you very much.
It's classic mug punter tactic, that, isn't it? You know, when you're struggling and you get to the last, you just pile on the fav, and the fact that it's called pylon just help, doesn't it?
You're calling me a mug, Keels. Are you calling me a mug?
I think he's mugged himself there. Let me tell you. I'll tell you what. You're at the track tomorrow, aren't you?
Pylon.
If Pylon was running in the last, and you were there with your Guinness going, it's been one of those days, and you saw that name, you'd be, it's written in the stars, and off he'd be sprinting away down the bookies.
I actually no. If I'm behind, I try and find something at a massive price generally.
You try and pile on.
No, I for all the reasons Ryan said, I think Pylon is very much the one to beat.
Yes, it was just a price thing for me. I don't know whether I want to be back piling in to pile on at under 3 to 1.
I think it is.
I don't trust him.
I think it is a soft enough race, and if he's back, you know, I mean, you got to remember he was second at Cheltenham Festival, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Behind Indefatigable.
Just got
Indefatigable.
Indefatigable, yeah.
Who's shown us to be a stayers hurdle class, isn't she?
Well said that, by the way.
Very well said. That's not easy. You have, I think, over these shows, you have become a lot more,
Intellectual.
The diction. Well, wouldn't go there,
No,
Batch.
we'll go there.
But talking about intellect, then Keels, you're with Ryan, which all of a sudden has become a good place to be.
I mean, I thought it was a bit of a soft race, to be honest. I didn't think there was that much in it. There was, I can see Al Dancer if he stays. He's obviously got a bit of quality about him.
When are we going to stop talking about Al Dancer?
Is he going to be? Is he going to?
Your man Doggerel's on it.
A
well-named jockey for a well-named horse.
I think he's that bad.
No,
not the jockey.
What, the horse? I mean, he's gone.
I think the jockey, he presented Baragris pretty well at his fences there. The horse just got tired.
No, nothing against the jockey, but he'll have to be.
It's fine, but yeah, he might have to kid the horse a little bit. I can understand there being some sort of confidence behind Stoner's choice, but the more do I look at it, the less I fancy anything.
Do we give William Emery an old chance being?
I forgot he was even running in this. The other Sam Thomas runner for Walters, of course. Nico is on. Yeah, he lightly raced and he very classy.
Classy.
Fresh in the past, but
won the Coral Cup.
Is he going to be capable of running to that mark first time out in a race like this?
Two horses I was interested in here. Obviously, Pylon, I see. He only backed out a bit late, Aintree, didn't he? That was a good run, and we've been waiting for this horse to come back. And I'd be delighted if he won it for connections because he's been frustrating. I thought Stormer Rising, who pulled himself up in front, according to Nichols, in this race last year, he was supposed to run at Haydock in the big Grade 3 handicap there on Betfair weekend. He's come here instead. First time cheap pieces, which I think will help him. Yeah, and if Harry Cobden gets it right, he's well
might
capable.
Do. He's a bit quirky himself, though, isn't he?
Yes.
And I actually think he wants it hock deep.
Well, I'm happy with the times
I've seen him.
Sorry?
Which it was last year.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. But he's due to go chasing, isn't he? They've held that off because he had a very good run over hurdles last year. But he'd be one.
There doesn't appear to have been any going change today, so they must be confident enough with what they're saying. The Winter Novices was only 12.5 seconds slow.
Only 12.5 seconds slow.
But that's not horrific for a jumps race, is it? I mean,
so everything we're saying, it's Pylons to lose, really.
It was 40 seconds slow last year, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Pylon.
It's easy to lose, I think.
Well, we've seen horses snatch defeat from the jaws of victory today, haven't we? The other one that I thought was quite interesting, Kills, I want to get away from you on this, and there's two actually. I'm going to be greedy. The Cob. For Daryl Jacob and Ben Pauling, who was thought to be, Cheltenham Festival class. He reappears here off 136. Is this a sighter? Is this a fitness comeback? Because the market would suggest so, because I thought he was still well handicapped.
Yeah, he could be well handicapped. The market 136 would get you in the Patemps anyway. I mean, it all depends on what all the plans are.
That's interesting.
Is every chance that the market is suggesting he needs it, but then the market is focusing on other horses.
Of course, this is where we say the disclaimer that this is a Patemps qualifier. Of course, the top 6 eligible for a run in the final in March.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to, low 130s normally gets you in. It was even lower last year, but I think that was all down to COVID. So it'll probably be harder next year. So he's in already as long as he doesn't drop very far.
Another horse, Mr. Harp. For some very interesting connections. They like to have a go, these guys, for Thomas Gallagher and Jack Quinlan. He's got some interesting form at Warwick with Imperial Alcazar.
He has, but he was absolutely tailed off, basically, at Foss last time, wasn't he? I mean,
there's a bit of blue about him today, let's put it that way. He's been
again, as Mattie said earlier on, every horse, virtually every horse needs a run, and he's had it.
This is
you know what I mean? And of course, if you blow up in a jumps race, you can lose lengths very quickly.
Very quickly.
You know what I mean? So talking about distances beaten, I mean, look how badly Thomas Darby got beaten at Weatherby.
And then hosed up.
Comes out and wins the what's it, so it can happen.
All right, Ryan, this is the final race of the day. You're getting more and more confident of ending with a quick double. You'll be skipping back for work tomorrow if this goes in.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Dave, he's not much value at the price around 11-4, but I think he's most likely winning the race. A few quid knocking around for Copper Coin on the exchanges into 9.0. Stoner's Choice and Al Dancer are very weak, and Mr. Harp there's a few quid for him overnight, and that's being held up on the show. He's 15.0, so he's fairly steady off a really light weight of 10 stone, and that's a big positive to him in ground conditions like this.
All right, top man. Thank you, Ryan. All right, yeah, this is going to be interesting, isn't it? Ben Jones, of course, the recipient of the of the pylon ride. I mean, when he went chasing, it was one of the biggest disappointments, wasn't it? It was horrendous. The first time at Cheltenham, he was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And they have to reinvent themselves. Again, he's only 7, so with one eye on the final, these horses might have. Copper Coin, of course, for the Scudamores. Solid horse, Sean Bowen on. Stoner's Choice, who Kealy mentioned. South Terrace, what about him for the good doctor, Richard?
You never rule out the good doctor, do you?
Certainly not in the pretense.
But he's been, he's been reasonably well supported, hasn't he?
He was just a long way off pylon, wasn't he?
He was a long way off, and obviously he's been busy, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think he's got his work cut out. I mean, again, that was his first run for a few months, though, wasn't it? So, but yeah, a long way behind.
They're off.
Didn't travel as well
For the last.
See.
They are off, and he's right up there, Keels, as well, South Terrace.
He's off there as well, yeah.
The Cobb's up there, he's pretty keen, isn't he? Where's Al Dancer? He's up in the mix as well. Pylon got a beautiful position already. Very keen out the back. Looking for that one, it's Marquis Hill, the outsider for Gav Sheehan and Warren Greatrix. Disappointed.
Plenty of pace on.
Gav Sheehan after that went Hill. Yeah, there is. Mr. Harp loves that. Out the back. Looking for Tidal Flow, horse that again lost his way, hasn't he, Sean Houlihan?
Yeah, he's just behind Pylon and
slow jumped
there like a chase.
But the commentator's curse comes in. He has been over fences. Bard of Brittany for Sheena West. Really prolific horse for her.
Yeah, she's got course form, and she's one of those horses. He's in and out of form, but if he's on the day, you could give him an each way shout off of that mark, 10 stone free.
Yeah, it does. Cheers, Patch. I'm looking on the far side. Still looks like a lovely surface, really, doesn't it, Sandown? Really, really does. Storm Arising in about 5th. He pinged that one.
Pylon stepped at that one.
Where is Pylon? Yeah, just on the
behind the grey.
So they're all going very nicely at this stage. Al Dancer, will he get home? That's the question, I suppose. He's tanky, but they're riding him confidently. Mr. Harp out the back as well. Pinged that one by the Brittany. Not so good. What's the one I haven't mentioned? Is that Stoner's Choice? Having a look from the back under Max Kendrick as well. Fergal O'Brien. All right, there's a 3-way go for the lead. Ryan McCue, who does the market like? Or more importantly, who doesn't it?
Yeah, Pylon is a little bit shorter than his BSP, Dave. He's into 3.3, so just over 9 to 4. South Terrace leads them on the rail. He's around 7 to 1. A few of the drifters, Stoner's Choice, 12.5. A few of the bigger price, then William Henry's on the slide as well, even though he doesn't have a too bad of a position. But if you're on Pylon pre-race, you'd be just hoping that he gets into a rhythm with his jumping, as we've seen him fall apart in the past. He's jumped the first few fine. He slightly missed the last hurdle, but in the main, he's jumping well, and he's 9 to 4 favourite in the run.
Wow, okay, so still going with him, keeping the faith. Keels, are you still keeping it?
Yeah, he's going well enough. Like I said, he stepped at the previous one, but it wasn't a disaster. He got over it without losing any momentum. I think Storm Horizon might be a little bit lit up by the cheek pieces.
Yeah, he's got no cover, has he?
No. So, that would worry you for the second half of the race, I think.
William Henry's going well on the inside batch.
Yeah, travelling well.
Couple of them just all of a sudden, look, Tidal Flow on and off the bridle, racing lazily. Never been going.
He got a reminder earlier on as well. Tidal Flow, yeah.
Bit of a thinker then. They're very tightly bunched, which they haven't been so far at Sandown. The Cobb, loving life, back in action. What's his big target this year? The road back to that. Again, Copper Coin not looking great all of a sudden either on the outside. Right, so plenty to play for as we go out on the far side. Batch, when are you next in with us?
The 14th.
14th?
Yes.
All right, got a couple coming up then. Love it. What have we got coming up next week? Of course, it's the Racing Post Gold Cup on International Day at Cheltenham. Then we'll be going for the big Betfair Day at Ascot. Boxing Day, Welsh National, New Year's Day. It's all ahead of us, isn't it? Leopardstown coming up as well. Love it. What will the Mullins horses do this weekend as well? So much to be talking about. Great to have all the chats going. I've been watching them going left, right and centre. Our community is still well and truly alive on a Friday as well. All right, South Terrace. When's he going to get taken on, guys?
Not yet.
Be a while yet. I mean,
I saw you smiling there, Kills. I did a good filling job there.
Yeah, that was a massive filling job. Carry on, mate. I can't go home soon without saying another word.
I saw Kills having a little laugh to himself. He thought, Orton's going on.
Oh, the Brittany's travelling all right.
I don't speak that much in 24 hours.
You should hear me in my sleep. I don't stop. All right, we're off and running. And now they've ramped it up, Batch.
Yeah.
Come on, I want a Gwen Silly Burbass type finish.
The Brittany's travelling all right, Dave.
That's the Cobb win that one, didn't he?
Yeah,
Pylon not so good.
Pylon just had a little niggle there.
Yeah,
on
he
Ben
did.
Jones, yeah.
Barda Brittany's just observing under Mark Goldstein, thinking, well,
he's
Mark Goldstein's probably thinking to himself, just get in the six.
Just get in the six.
That's all I want here. I mean, in all honesty, some punters can't stand these qualifiers, but if you get the ones that got to go up in the weights, you know what I mean, that really, really, really good races to have a go in, I think. Look at Mr. Hart.
And what do you think as well, Dave? Some of these owners are going to love a day out at Cheltenham. If they finish,
Absolutely.
it's...
Tidal flow again. I'll tell you what, Pylon's not looking good, is it?
Looks like he might have spat the dummy out again, doesn't it?
Ryan, on and off the bridle then. Right? Ryan McCue.
Yeah, Pylon's out to 6-1, but I wouldn't be too disheartened. He's kind of coming on and off the bridle. As we've seen in his previous performance, he does stay really well. So I think he'll be bang there to finish. A few of them travelling well are wide on the track, so that may count against them later on. But Mr. Hart looks to be travelling well into the race. Well, it's just as I said that he's coming off the bridle.
And Pylon comes back on
I
it.
think Al Dancer's going better.
Oh, blimey, if Al Dancer wins this, I'll be...
Depends on whether he gets home, doesn't it? And Storm Horizon ain't going bad either.
I'll tell you what. If Al Dancer wins this, I'll be doing some sort
You
of.
know, but I mean, like I said, it is a bit on and off the bridle.
Every time he looks beaten, he comes back on it. Storm Horizon not done. How much will that early exuberance cost him? Right, we're turning for home. So far, you wanted to be on the speed. The Cobb, probably the one to beat in a minute. Look at Storm Horizon. Al Dancer doing what he does best, spitting out the dummy somewhat. Let's have a look for those in behind. Mr. Hart finding this a bit hot. Storm Horizon's run an absolute blinder, isn't he? But he's just finding it a bit hot. The Cobb, Pylon, not done with. Call it, Keels.
I think the winner's in front.
South Terrace.
South Terrace.
Yeah.
South Terrace and the Cobb.
Here comes the Pylon.
Here comes the
Pylon. Oh, here he goes. Pinks up all of a sudden.
Pylon.
Oh, never in doubt. What's he going? He's gone really low. Coming to the last. Come on, Ryan McCue. Here comes the Pylon. Up and over. Oh, it's between him and the turn. Never in doubt. He must have gone big in running. We'll get to Ryan after this. Once again, he saved it all the best for last. He knew. Al Dancer running on when it's all too late. The Cobb has really solid return. Is he going to get second from South Terrace?
Yes.
Oh,
second,
not quite.
yes, second winning line.
Never become a judge, Batch.
Second winning line. You done it on the first one.
Did I?
Yes.
Yeah, you did.
You done it on the chase
Are you
one.
sure?
Didn't you know that? I didn't know
Right.
that.
I mean, I called Epperton the winner last week.
You done it on the chase course.
Keels and a winner for you as well.
Oh, I've had a winner, yeah. I would much more it was the late legend, but we got out of it. So
always the way, isn't it? That's the game, isn't it?
I'd like to see a bit more emotion from Ryan.
And exactly, he
Come
goes,
on,
here comes
Ryan,
the
come
Pylon, he
on.
said.
It's hard, Matty, when I'm not in the studio, which is because I feel there's a big delay. Wait till I get into the studio one day. I'll be a bit more molded. In the run there, Pylon was 5-1 on jumping the last. 1.2 I checked when they were coming to the last. So punters felt all momentum was with him. 10.5 was the biggest Pylon was matched at. 1.75 South Terrace was done at. So there was plenty happening in running. And it was interesting run from El Dancer. We thought the trip might be a worry for him, but he actually stayed on well to the line. So they'll have options going forward. But we finished with a bang, thank God, Keels, and we get a few quid for charity in the end.
Yeah,
well done, absolutely. Fair play, Ryan. That's what it's all about. We'll forget the beginning of the show. It's always about how you finish, Keels. Absolutely.
I tell you what, as you know, as you go racing as a punter, right, you can have a real good shout up and have a good win in the first race, then have 5 losers. You go home half miserable. You're back to 1 winner in the last race. It's great. They can't wait till I come back. Like, you know what I mean? So, so it is nice to get it. I mean, I was getting miserable. I fancied 2 really strongly early doors. You know, neither of them got round. It was, you know what? Sorry, one of them didn't get round. The other one decided to bottle it on the run in.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's come back and nicked a few quid in.
You are there tomorrow. Tingle Creek Day.
Champagne bar.
Champagne super Kills will be calling it.
I'm not sure I'll be buying any champagne at their prices tomorrow.
Your sizzlers are coming out at 6 p.m. on the members, 9 o'clock decision. But give us the nap, Kills. This is what people watching this show they want to know. Saturday's nap. What's the banker? Are you being asked to Saturday banker this week as well?
Yeah, Saturday. No, look, Saturday banker was 3rd time lucky. I think he should be odds on, and he's 6-4. I think he's going to eat those fences down the back straight, and he really will put them to the sword around there. As for better value bet, I think looking at how slow that ground looks, I think Miss Heritage has got a cracking chance in the last. Ran really well. Lucy Wadham said she needed the run at Ascot, 6 I saw in glory. Was obviously second to Langer Dan in the Imperial Cup last year. Langer Dan goes on to be second to Galopin de Champ at Cheltenham. Miss Heritage is already a pound lower. She beat the rest by 5+ lengths. So.
Kills, great to have you today. Yep. Thanks for that. The people are just going and backing them right now, no doubt. Great to have you pressing the buttons. Batch, great to have you back. Who are you most looking forward to seeing over the weekend, Batch?
Nubra-Negra. I honestly think
I knew you were going to say
turn
that.
over Chacun Poursoir, yeah.
I think it'll be a double with third time lucky.
Double, yeah. Put in a double with Keats. He's third time lucky.
Super duper. All right, great to have the guys. Great to have Ryan McCue. We're back tomorrow, Ryan.
Yeah, back tomorrow. Really good day's racing. Probably a lot more quality than we've seen today, but hopefully we can start tomorrow where we finish today.
Oh, it's sizzling stuff. Great to have Ryan. He'll be back with me, Dave Orton, Nat Green, Charlie Post as well. Thanks to the guys in the gallery. Thank you to you for watching. Until 24 hours' time, enjoy the sport.